All right, let's start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the September Q&A. I know we're starting late. We're continually trying to find workarounds for YouTube stuff, and we had some problems with the new Creator Studio and the old Creator Studio. We had to change out the link, but everything should be up and running now. Thank you for your patience, and we're ready to go. We're ready to get started with the first question, which comes in once again from Alexander Zirnov, who says, "Hey allies, you're about to be exiled on a deserted island and you're allowed to take one single game with you. Which game will you take and why? Keep in mind that there's no power on the island, so you'll only be able to look at the disc/box and read the manual."
Oh.
Man, I've got really fond memories of that original Dragon Warrior manual, just looking through that thing over and over again, so that might be a good pick.
Did he say game or video game? Because if he just said game, D&D 5e?
He just said game. He did not specify video game. I think that's what he meant. I'm not sure, but...
Hey, technicalities. Take a tabletop RPG then.
I think it's a great idea. Blood, I was kind of thinking along the exact same lines, like something with a nice thick manual. Like Baldur's Gate 2 has a really giant, thick manual that'd be fun to comb through.
That's good.
The gold cartridge of Ocarina of Time, and I would bury it like treasure.
Good humor.
And then, like, would you just be content knowing that that's there?
Yeah. Yep.
That happiness would sustain you?
Yeah.
Pretty good. I want, instead of a board game, I'll just go with A Link to the Past because that instruction manual has awesome artwork and story stuff in there, and I just read that every so often because it's such a good story.
Nice.
Dude, I'm just doing D&D like Ian, man. So much content.
Yeah. Then we can play together.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need no power to play.
Yeah.
I like the Mario 3 instruction book a lot. I'd take Mario 3.
Tight.
You know, I don't know if I've ever seen it, to be honest. Because when I was a kid, I always played Mario 3 at friends' houses, and then later on, like, I just had it on, like, Virtual Console and stuff.
You maniac.
It's kind of going along Ian's line of thought. I guess you could just bring, like, an unlimited amount of magic cards.
Oh.
That could keep you occupied for a long time.
Yeah.
If the post-apocalypse happens, that's what I want the new currency to be. I want it to be trading cards.
Magic cards.
Yeah, like your place in society is the schmuck who says pho or ramen.
Ramen.
Yeah, I agree. I like pho, but
I like
ramen.
pho.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
I
hate.
feel like we've gotten this question too before.
I haven't had pho in a long time.
So take that, Will Schmuck.
Gotcha.
No, Will's great.
Damiani is
He's a
displeased.
consistent weekly
Should be
hunter.
which type of ramen you want.
Okay, Dalmiani.
No. I was asking you all. No,
Have you
I
tried
don't
the?
know, dude.
I wasn't BMing. Whoa, no.
Have you tried that new fad that's the brothless ramen? I can't remember the
What?
name.
I would never do that.
That's actually I tried it. It was actually really good. Oh, I wish I could remember what it was called.
It's like naked ramen or hippie ramen.
I was trying to think of the Japanese. It starts with an M, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, like, I don't know anything authentic about that, but I'll make, like, a ramen salad sometimes.
It's basically this.
Yeah, so it's like I'll, cook the ramen with egg and stuff, and then I'll also make a salad, and then I'll just pour out most of the broth, and then dump the ramen on top of the salad.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. There's
I'm
a
weird.
place on like Olympic that does it.
I sometimes replace the noodles with bean sprouts now
It's
for less carbs.
it's not ramen, but tsukemen, where you take the noodles and you take the cold noodles and you dip them in the broth, is my favorite. Like that's like my favorite dish ever. So
Was there a Portlandia sketch about that where
Probably did.
someone pours the broth in and it makes a creature or something? They're like, no, you're supposed to dip.
I would
Does
watch that.
Kyle know he's muted? That's a good question.
He's not talking right now.
I have zero opinions on pho versus ramen.
We prefer Kyle muted, honestly, you know.
Also,
No.
my neighbors are jamming on. Not like that. No, just listening to loud music today.
It's
Wait.
pronounced Jamin.
Jamming.
What did you think we were going to think?
Yeah,
Like you're playing music.
because
my mind.
my
My
old
mind-
neighbors used to jam. My old neighbors used to play live instruments and actually jam and actually noodle on their guitars. And so yeah, these neighbors are just listening to loud music.
Got it.
Okay,
A different kind of jamming.
Yeah.
gotcha.
I
What are they
couldn't hear
listening
it.
to?
It sounds like a sing-songy guitar man.
Sing-songy guitar man. Of course.
So it's kids' music.
Yeah.
It's not kids' music.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere there's got to be a solo act, and that's their name. Sing-songy guitar man. And he's just so sad.
Our next question comes in from. So I minimize the window so it's don't always know when the best time to come in is, but yeah, our next question comes in from Hab Jabbit, who says, "Hello, Allies. My question for you is: if enough of the Allies play Sword and Shield, could there possibly be a tournament held?"
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I think that'd be fun.
It'd be great.
I think it would be fun. I question how into it some people would be.
I would be more into it
Fair,
if there
you
was a limit for how many hours you could grind and play.
This is what I'm talking about.
Right, Jones.
So it's not all
allowed.
about who plays the most. It's like, yo, you have 5 or 10 hours or something to train up. Go.
Well, I mean,
So-
Wait,
Something like that. I don't know.
I feel like maybe this doesn't make as much sense, but because we wouldn't all necessarily be playing it that much, it might make sense to have like 2 curators that have like groups of Pokemon, and then we select from their Pokemon.
Draft.
That's disgusting.
or you just have to say like we have to play Pokemon all at the same level, right? Or like within a window of levels.
So I mean, Pokemon, when you do multiplayer, it will level up all your Pokemon to level 50 or level 100. Like there are modes for that.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
So it'd be fine.
But the grinders are still gonna win. The grinders still win out even in those
Well,
situations.
just don't let Jones
Why?
play it.
Your level 100 Pokemon that aren't artificially 100 can be stronger if you put more work into them.
Okay.
well, and
so
it
Jones
also
just
depends
can't play.
like on the type of Pokemon that you're gonna have. I mean, if somebody's coming in with like in-game legendaries, that's gonna be an advantage over early. If somebody's only played the early game, like you're just gonna have a broader
There's definitely
access.
a rule of no legendaries.
Sure, I
If
think
Jones
that's a
brings
good
in a
rule.
legendary, we have problems.
I mean, or we just can't do it until we've all beaten the game.
By the way, this is the first tournament in all time that we've been nervous about Jones.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon is like, this
is why we have to do this.
He's a
before,
grinder.
like the top tier competitive Pokemon, you know, our skill level just feels like, all right, whoever puts in the most time will win.
But imagine if we beat Jones, how devastated and defeated he will be.
I can imagine him sitting with Sophie at 3 a.m. and like he just looks and it goes from like he just levels up in that smile on his face and he just is nodding to himself that he's got it in the bag.
And also, Switch makes that really nice. Just the platform would actually make it really easy to swap in and swap out who we're looking at. And man,
Okay.
this might have to happen. This could be really cool.
Oh,
yeah, we
gotta
will
do this all
definitely
the time.
consider this.
What would it be better, Kyle, if rather than worrying about like, hey, let's do the tournament right away, maybe if we do it after Christmas, so that way we give people more time, and it's like, hey, everybody has the same amount of time, go.
I worry that even like myself, nobody's playing it after Christmas.
Maybe. Maybe.
But then that's the choice you make, right? So then
Yeah.
if Jones,
Yeah, you just lose. Whatever.
right, then you just lose.
Jones,
Jones,
we're
we're talking about
We're trash
we're talking about a
talking you.
Pokemon Sword and Shield tournament.
We're trash talking you because you're gonna grind up and win, and it'll be false.
Well, a tournament against other allies, that wouldn't be in the rules. We would just even it out, right? Can't you just do that? Can't you set that in the settings where everyone's
Yeah.
like level 60 or
That's what
whatever?
I was
and
telling.
then...
That's what I was telling Huber. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Kyle
we-
says that even like if you, a real 100 level Pokemon will beat an artificial 100 level Pokemon is what Kyle says.
There's no Jones cockiness going into a Pokemon tournament. That's not a thing. I'm terrible at Pokemon. I've maybe fought like 4 different human beings in my life. I've lost all of them. I've never won it. That's not.
You beat me, Jones. You beat me in the good old brand place Pokemon.
I'm in this to grind and catch for Tatis.
Kyle,
That's like the only.
Wow.
Maybe we should just have a tournament between Kyle and Jones then. I do think it'd be fun though. It's obviously something that we're gonna have to like talk about and figure out. And maybe once we get our hands in the game, we'll have a better idea of how to do it.
That's gonna be fun.
November 15th, I think.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
Nice.
Our next question comes in from Ramen. McDonald's or Taco Bell?
McDonald's.
McDonald's, I think.
McDonald's, I guess.
Neither.
I'm gonna be the rogue man out here. I think I like Taco Bell better. It still makes me feel bad. But...
Right. I gotta ask you, Ben. How much variety do you get at Taco Bell? I mean, like just for your tastes. Like, do you order a lot of different things, or you just get 1 or 2 things?
No, I feel like I don't always order the same thing at Taco Bell.
Nice.
Every time I do. That's why McDonald's, because there's more variety for me. But
yeah, and I do get a variety at McDonald's as well. I don't know. I like both, but it's tough because like Taco Bell definitely makes me feel worse, but sometimes it's just way better going down. Like you put some Diablo sauce on there, and yeah, I don't know.
what was Bosman's answer?
Both are essentials.
Okay.
I could not live without either.
I like arbitrarily decided never to eat at McDonald's again when I was like 12, and I never.
Yeah, I
have.
remember this.
I never
Too cool.
have.
Too cool.
Proud of you.
Yeah, I went for like 10 years or so without eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Kyle, I was gonna say I feel like I see you get Taco Bell more, but then I'm like, no, he gets McDonald's a lot too. So I think your answer, yeah.
He gets Taco Bell a lot.
Yeah.
I get McDonald's a lot.
If it weren't for Kyle, I wouldn't know that Taco Bell has coffee.
We just don't see it.
Taco Bell has coffee.
Yeah.
Taco Bell
Is there coffee? Okay.
It's very good because they're often making a fresh pot just for you.
Because everyone's reaction is like coffee and tacos.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Jeez.
All right, our next question comes in from Liz. I think we're going to need some context for this one. I really loved Kyle's Subway story from the Silver Stream a few Thursdays ago. Do other allies have similar stories? Do you all have set internal boundaries with regards to fan interaction and parasocial relationships? So what is this story?
Wait, what?
There's a Subway that I go to frequently, like McDonald's and Taco Bell.
Oh, a restaurant. Okay.
Yeah. And
Man, you eat really bad food.
there was a person there. Well, Subway's not really bad food. Who was like, "Hey man, aren't you from Easy Allies?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "My roommate was watching you during E3, and like I've seen you before." It's like, "Oh, cool." But then like the rumor spread that I'm a guy on the internet at that Subway. So then the next time I went, it was 2 women, not that guy at all, but they were like, "Hey, like, are you like, do you do videos on the internet? We heard you do that." I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like, what's your channel called? And I'm like, Easy Allies. Just like, "Oh, her sister watches you." And like now they're like I'm pretty sure making that up. You know what I mean? And then I just never came back to the Subway that I used to go to all the time. I went back one time after that. It was weird.
That's
and
so
it's
funny.
Just like,
yeah, enough.
So, have any of you had anything weird like that happen to you? Is the question.
Not that bad.
I have one weird story. I don't like, it's not a thing that happens very often at all, but I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. I'm not sure. I went back to Iowa, and I have this like idea in my head that when I go to Iowa, like no one, like there's no chance of anybody recognizing me. And I was just like really tired. We got done like helping somebody move into a new home, and we were at a grocery store, and somebody came up and they're like, "Aren't you Ben Moore?" And it like I was just like stunned. Like I didn't know what to say at first. I was like, how is this possible? So that happened, but that's it. That's the only thing.
So there's a TSA agent at LAX that watches Easy Allies, and I can't remember which terminal. It was Delta or something. And the first time he recognized me, you know how sometimes they do that thing where they like swab your hands to see if you have like bomb material on your hands. And for whatever reason, I procced it. I came up on it. I don't know if it was like Vaseline or like cleaner or something. I don't know what was on my hands that they thought I had like whatever. And so this like other security guy comes over and is like pulling me through. Honestly, it was kind of great. I got to skip all the lines, but like, he's pulling me through security because I'm like in trouble because I have like some weird thing on my hands and they gotta like test all my stuff in this like back area. But then as we're walking by, the dude who watches Easy Allies, who's a TSA agent in the normal line, is like, "Hey, aren't you Ian from Easy Allies?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, how you doing, man?" And I was like, "Well, pretty good. They think I got some kind of bomb material on my hands, but other than that, I'm cool." And he's like, "Oh, right, sweet. Well, it's good to see you." And, then I went through and they tested it and it was nothing. And I was like, "What the hell, And he was like, "Yeah, I've stopped trying to guess what makes it go, But then the next time I came to the airport, the dude recognized me again and put me in the first class line through security. And I was like, "That's not necessary." And he was like, "Nah, it's fine. It's not that busy." And I was like, "Okay." So that's pretty funny.
Take the perks.
Yeah. It was weird. Now I subscribe to that clear thing so I can just like weird walk through security.
One time I went to Mega 64 game days at Disneyland, which I go to every year. And I was walking by the Matterhorn, right by the submarine ride. And this person stopped me and they were like, "Oh, Easy Allies." And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You were for Mega 64 game days?" And he's like, "No, this is Disneyland." And I was like,
Yeah.
"You're just at Disneyland?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just here." I'm like, "You're just at Disneyland and you just bumped into me." He's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "That's the first time that's ever happened." That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Like,
happened like 4 times at Disneyland now.
I'll never forget that.
It's
That
crazy.
was, just bumping into like a friend at Disneyland that I met online, like that was cool.
Yeah, I'm starting to have like enough weird stories that I don't remember them all, but some of them definitely stuck out. I had a guy that I had run into at GDC, and then after GDC, ran into at the grocery store back home.
Whoa.
And then I remember when I was getting all of the when I was looking for costume stuff for the Dark Souls stream, the guy at Party City recognized me. And then I've had a few people that have been like, I didn't want to say anything, and then like tweeted at me later here and there. Oh yeah, I remember somebody had saw me just like walking down the street and then like tweeted at me later because he was driving and he couldn't stop. So, and then it seems like any time that I go to like a big concert, somebody will recognize me. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty wild. I did stop going to Burger Lounge for a while because one of the people who worked there was like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, we do internet videos or whatever." And she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend and I assemble models. You should have us on." And she like was talking me up to like have her on the thing, and I was like, I mean, it could work. And then I just like stopped going there for a while until she like stopped working there.
This I relate to.
Yeah, I was like, well, I can't go to Burger Lounge anymore.
I still get tripped up by the question, "What do you do?" It's like, what?
Yeah.
Video.
I don't know.
stuff.
It's a complex menagerie of things. So it's like, what is this person going to understand the easiest?
That is going to be my answer.
I said on video producer. That's what I put in that's what I put in the blank on like occupation. I'm just like, I make videos. Just that's like the easy one.
I'm going to start writing a complex menagerie of things for my job description. Because I love that. Oh, a complex menagerie of things.
Our next question comes in from Tim Mann, who says, "Hey, allies, hope you are well. Is there any particular company /franchise/character /creative you will always support or have time for, no matter how many letdowns or disappointments. I like the inclusion of character in there.
GTA, obviously.
Shinji Mikami, Cory Barlog, Neil Druckmann.
I would love a Switch exclusive GTA. That'd be great. I would love like a sequel to Chinatown Wars. It's only on Switch. That would be awesome.
Chinatown Wars hype.
It's interesting because I feel like my recent experience with Game of Thrones is giving me a little hesitation with this question. I feel like Kojima is somebody who I will always check out. I feel like Final Fantasy is a franchise that I will always check out. But like at my absolute most cynical, could I see Final Fantasy going in a way where I'm just like, nope, yeah. So I don't know, but probably those. Platinum and Kamiya for sure.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because it's like always support. Like I don't know. It's
right.
Like Metroid Prime Federation Force. I don't have a need to play that game. I don't have an interest in that. You know, it's like
right.
But it doesn't at all like shake my anticipation of the next Metroid Prime game. It just we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I enjoyed Other M despite its many flaws.
I mean, I was gonna say From Software, but like, I'm not sitting here playing Armored Core or whatever.
Right.
Well, like, their newer stuff you could pretty much always check out.
I think you mean probably like
Miyazaki,
yeah.
Miyazaki era.
Yeah.
Specifically Souls, I guess, to really narrow that down.
Yeah.
Fumito Ueda is someone I will always check out and see what he's up to.
That's a good pick, Brad.
Swear he's getting there.
Swear he's there, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard because even with the people that I'm saying, it's like it's hard to predict the future. Sometimes, like you want to support something, but you just
not time.
Life gets in the way, or something happens to you, and like I don't necessarily know where I'm gonna be or where I'm gonna be at my life in 10 years, and so I think it's hard to say with absolute certainty, but I think the desire is there, I guess.
Good point.
I'll always check out a Joanna Newsom or a Fiona Apple or a Radiohead or a Jeff Vandermeer going forward, you know. There are a few like that.
Ian, can we do, when the new Fiona Apple album comes out, can we do a spoiler mode on music album?
Yes.
That'd be really great, man.
Absolutely. That's a really fun idea.
Anybody else want to jump in on that one? Okay. Our next question comes in from Angelo. Hey, allies. Untitled Goose Game was a fun one. So now I'm asking you, with coming up with a spiritual successor based on the antics of a different animal, what would the animal be? What would be the animal, the mechanics, and what set pieces would you have?
How about a bear stealing people's food?
Yogi Bear?
Yep. Yogi Bear, dude.
That's a good one because the stealth element is there.
Yogi Bear game.
Brad, you know Sly Cooper, the sequences where you like hold down circle and you're on the rail, and so it like all you're doing is pressing forward, but they make all these really fun things happen.
Yeah,
I'd love like a squirrel game, or or a cat game, kind of the same thing, where you're like running on like wires and fences, and everyone's like getting upset and chasing you, and you're just
But Jones, I mean, you were just like right there on the cusp of it. The raccoon.
That's what I was thinking of.
That mixes in like what Huber was talking about and what you're talking about. You know, it's like you're trying to sneak into things and be nimble and all of that.
Yeah, raccoon is a really mischievous creature.
Yes, they are. A sloth, and you are in different settings where their goal is to cause as much like traffic and lines. So you just be like in the middle of a highway, and you just gotta like make everyone stop, or you're at like a restaurant and you're ordering and you're just taking a long time, and you just gotta see how many angry customers you can get behind you.
Yeah,
speed run time on this game is 21 hours.
I'd definitely play that.
That is so weird. I love it. Something with like a crow or something, like a
crows are great.
Really smart bird. You can do like really weird, mischievous stuff. But yeah, raccoon might be the answer as far as being like a pest.
I had another one when we started.
Raccoons have hands.
Raccoons have little hands, dude.
You could grab stuff easily. Mechanics, dude.
Yeah. Although part of the joy of Goose Game is that you can barely move stuff.
I think a giraffe would be really interesting. Like in VR, just having the sensation of being like so far above so much would be really cool.
Couldn't you play as a giraffe in Tokyo Jungle? Or am I imagining that?
Maybe.
Maybe. There's a lot of different animals in that.
Yeah.
That's a game we should revisit. That game is super fun.
Yeah. Did they ever re-release it on PS4?
I don't think so. I think it was just PS3. I could be wrong on that, though.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Our next question comes in from Varun. He says, "Hey, allies. I wanted to talk about one of my favorite games of all time and the struggle that I had in actually getting into the game, Okami. I remember first playing it, then stopping it, and then playing it some more, and then stopping again, and then actually playing it all over a span of 6 months. But during the summer holiday, I decided this is it. I will get further than I have before, and ended up completing it. The entire experience was unique and kept me gripped from till the end. I never deleted the game, and I always kept going back to it because there was a voice that kept telling me to keep at it. Somewhere I knew that this was something special. That was 5 years ago, and I'm still happy to this day that I kept at it. Have you ever had a game that you found hard to get into, but one that you were happy you stuck with? And what made you stick with that game?"
Sekiro. Definitely. I even digitally returned the game and then bought it again.
Did you finish it?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
On stream, I believe.
Okami is such a perfect example because I remember starting that game and being like, man, if I didn't know that this was a great game, I would be out right now.
Yeah, it's so slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
So much talking.
And the original game, you couldn't skip the intro.
Yeah.
And it was just Isun just constantly
for like an hour. Yeah.
Okay, we got it.
What did it sound like?
Oh, no. Oh, God.
As far as ones that were hard for me to get into, I when I initially played Shadow of the Colossus on the PS2, it was like everybody was raving about it, but just I didn't immediately click with the controls. And then it took the PS3 version, and I played all the way through it, and I was like, oh, I get it now. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I want to like this, but it's just not clicking with me. And then the PS3 version, I was like, it took me some time, for sure.
I like that I never bothered to beat Super Mario Brothers. I was like, I get it. I can get to the last area, and like I've seen the ending. I don't like need to actually physically do this. And I did a feature for GT, and I was like, oh wait, I need to get the ending of this game for this. So all right, here we go. And I buckled down and actually finished it, and that was fun. End of story.
I don't know if I do this. Like I'm trying. Like I immediately have several examples of games that I wish I hadn't stuck through. Like. You know, like Nier Automata, Red Dead 2, I'm like, I didn't need to spend all that time. Like, but like, I can't think of games that I don't drop like a hot rock and feel good about, you know, not having done that. Can't think of any.
For me, it's weird. I think that I never would have gotten into Dragon Quest if it wasn't for taking a long trip to Germany. Basically, like I even like did not like how Dragon Quest VIII started, but because I'm trapped on a plane, you stick through it because that's the thing you brought to do, and learn to love it to death, you know. And so it's like it's almost there. It's almost like it wasn't really the game pushing me back, but just you know what, it was the game pushing me back. But yeah, you learn to love what is there in it and the rewards that it gives back to you. And yeah, eventually I got into it because. Sorry?
Were you hooked when you found the crystal ball in the cave?
No. I'm like, dude, when I get home, I'm not playing any more of this.
Dude,
but I got
when was
8
the
hours
moment?
left on this flight, and so it just popped. Yeah.
What was the moment when you're like, all right, I'm in?
I think it's when I started getting some skills, dude.
Nice.
You see the returns.
Nice.
And maybe it was like just like
the
the second town, getting to a second town, getting to a third town, and like how different they are, and how like one thing I love is balconies, dude. Just the game's got balconies, and they don't even have stuff hidden on the balconies all the time. It's just like come up here and look around. It's just I love that.
Nice.
Kyle, maybe this isn't the reason, but do you think it all has to do with like a lack of distraction? Because that's something that I can find being a problem, where it's like when you're just aware of like how much stuff there is, it's easy to feel distracted or check your phone or whatever. And so like when you just are completely prevented from doing that, it can help focus.
Yeah.
Is that part of it?
And I want to make an editorial about how the Genesis Mini is impossible to play.
Because of this reason. Oh, what do you mean specifically?
You have just 30 games to choose from on the console itself. And so you're always thinking about the game you're not playing. And also, like, that's on top of everything else. On top of this phenomenon you're talking about in your own living room, where you're thinking about what you're not watching or listening to or playing or doing. And so you're right, on the plane, it's just so nice just to have just your RPG there.
Maybe this is just a me thing, but I totally agree with you about kind of that serenity of the plane and having time. But sometimes people on planes can be like really annoying. And so if you have that person that like is just talking really loudly or like hitting your chair or something, like that, I can't focus as well because then I get like hung up on that thing that's happening. But yeah, cool. That's really cool.
The no games like hard like I didn't get into, but I have a habit of, or I used to have a habit. I'm like better at it now, but like my biggest pet peeve is starting a game and then putting it down for a really long time, and then like maybe going back and like restarting it. But like Demon Souls was one where I got it, wanted to get through, and I was like, it was in college, so it's like, dude, I need to like study for classes. I can't play this. I can't do this. Put it down for like till Dark Souls came out, and then I was like, all right, I'm going back. I'm not stopping. All in. Just like for like weeks.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 1 was rough.
Yeah.
But I stuck through it. That's a good one, yeah. Kingdom Hearts was rough to get into, but I knew because of Brad's love. I was like, all right, I gotta go. Give it time.
Yeah. Persona 3 was really rough for me when I first played it because I really dislike Tartarus, like the dungeon system you go through that game. I think it's like really boring, but I think the game has enough to keep you going through the rest of it. And I'm glad I did.
I think a Persona 3 remake would be pretty sweet.
Yes.
Do it.
Okay, our next question comes in from Richard. He says, "Boo, allies! It's time for round 4 of the Survival Horror Design Lab. The Ribs is People. After detailing our NPC over the last 2 months, we look to the protagonist in 2 stages. First, the group come to a consensus as to why the protagonist has arrived in this abandoned coastal town. Hint, it's not the Ribs. The protagonist is William, early 40s. He's a painter and decorator with a terrible sense of color coordination and has an aversion to touching seafood. But what drew him here? Who or what is he looking for? Secondly, each ally must now place a random item in the starting inventory, none of which can be anything conventional to the genre, like a weapon or a torch. Every good survivor horror game starts with the main character carrying useless personal effects. What's the stupidest thing he could be carrying in his satchel? Until next time, Johnson is staring at the rocks where his wife didn't crash from the lighthouse. Apathetic Boy Scout Jimmy is wandering the woods looking for the library, and Matt the bartender's voice is emanating from a bar somewhere in Twilight, New York."
So fish freaks him out? Touching fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His inventory has sushi. Sushi in his inventory.
Love that, Huber.
He has a 10-foot USB cable.
This is gonna come like, man, can
That's a
imagine a
weapon.
game and you check your inventory you have that, you're like, this is going to come in handy so many times.
Somebody wrote him a letter and said they had invented a new color.
Yeah, I was going to say he like.
That's
Oh,
what
that's
they
why
wanted
he's
him
here
to
in
come
town?
Yeah, he's here in town to investigate a new color that no one's ever seen before.
That's actually that's similar to what I was thinking. I was like, he got a postcard of a place in this town that he thinks has the most beautiful color coordination he's ever seen, and it's just like this patchwork, like terrible, ugly building. But he's come to this town because he wants to see that building, because it's perfectly in line with his taste, and he's like, finally. Someone who gets it.
Like in person. Like he's seen photographs. He's like, I don't believe it. I got to see it in my own eyes.
And so I was going to say he's got that photograph of that postcard in his bag with him, too. So it's both the object and the motivation for being in the town.
I like it.
He has a bag of Fruit Loops in his pocket.
Like a bag, like a Ziploc?
Yeah.
That's enough for a one bowl. Nice.
He's puzzled that there are only blue ones in there because he didn't leave that way.
Right.
What happened?
Or the character says, "Why are there only blue ones?" But you see it, and it's all the regular colors, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Ooh,
every
I
color.
like that even more."
This dude's just colorblind. That's the problem. Just can't,
He doesn't know it.
He just can't see that.
A little rolled up patch of skin.
Oh, God.
What?
A little rolled up patch of skin.
I heard you.
He enunciates. A little rolled up.
Is that what you have in your bag, Kyle? You don't let
Yeah, I
any
got
of
some
us,
patches.
You don't let any of us look in there.
I thought we're making a horror game.
You have to start from
You're
a
not
state
wrong.
of
You're not
normalcy.
But he doesn't know how the skin got there. It's a mystery to even him.
Right.
That's pretty good.
He knows.
Did you guys see that third state of the bathtub in PT that someone uncovered?
Whoa.
No.
So in the normal game, it's just empty or half full of nasty water. There's a thing that's loaded into memory but never actually displayed in game, and it's Lisa's headless corpse in the tub.
Whoa.
It's dope.
And they probably took it out because maybe it was like too overt. It was like too.
Yeah, maybe. Or I mean, knowing Kojima, he's like, someone will data mine this 3 years from now.
That's so awesome.
People always talk about like what game would you want to go back and experience for the first time, and like PT is definitely one of them.
PT
I
was a
don't want to
watershed
talk about
moment.
PT, dude. It makes me sad. What could have been?
It was too scary, dude.
Just perfect.
Our next question comes in from Cisco Ace Jackson. GOTY 2020, Persona 5 Royal, Last of Us Part 2, or Cyberpunk? Go.
None.
One more time.
Persona 5 Royal, Last of Us Part 2, or Cyberpunk? Go.
Cyberpunk Go is that a mobile version?
Cyberpunk
Yes.
Go.
Is happening?
It's like right?
I'm also down for that.
It's the anime version.
I think Persona 5 Royal's not going to show up a lot. You don't get GOTYs off of a re-release like that kind of thing typically.
Also, slightly worried about the console performance of Cyberpunk.
Sure.
How's that going to run on
So okay,
consoles?
Cyberpunk is next year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Large.
So The Last of Us is what I'm gonna have to listen to in the game of the year when I'm just like, oh, these 8 million things you can do in Cyberpunk, and like, yeah, but that one scene where I cried, and be like, okay.
He's never let that go.
I don't like how this conversation went already.
Damn, dude.
I'm just prepping for 2020. I'm just getting myself emotionally prepared
That's some
for
build
the end of 2020.
Better remake anyway.
At least we didn't have to listen to. There's so much stuff you can do in Red Dead 2.
I know. It's gonna be bad.
I'm glad that you showed some restraint. You saw the writing on the
I talked
wall.
about the animals. I said there are lots of animals. That's all I want to say.
There's also Animal Crossing and Horizon One Dawn or whatever.
But it's the same thing. Animal Crossing is not a GOTY contender. I don't need Animal Crossing to shoot for the stars. I just need it to exist.
When they
Zelda's going to show up.
yeah,
Breath
when
of
they
the Wild
drop
2.
Zelda, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh,
If they drop Zelda next year.
I realize this is kind of a stick in the mud answer, but we haven't done Game of the Year 2019. Like I'm not. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for the games to come out. I'll play them, and then I'll talk about them. Like
all right.
I know this is just for fun, but it's just like
Right.
it gets weird because then it's like, okay, well, I feel optimistic about this thing, but then my opinion changes. So I think, I don't know. I know. It's a little bit of a stick in the mud answer.
GOTY 2020, it should just be our most anticipated. It's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, most anticipated, yeah.
Or
But
2020 instead of GOTY 2020. Because again, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We haven't even done 19.
Right.
So
Yeah, if you
just
frame
be
the
like-
question that way, most
Yeah.
anticipated, sure. Yeah.
For sure. GOTY 2019, though. Yeah,
What even came out this year?
A lot of fun stuff, man. Resident Evil, Sekiro.
I think my most anticipated right this very second is probably Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence in that game.
Soon.
Weird fun fact. Even though it's specifically The Last of Us Part 2, the term people are searching for is just Last of Us 2.
Actually,
Blood, that is not a fun fact.
Yeah, that's
Wait a
just
minute.
yeah, people are lazy.
no, I'm. Wait a minute. I'm super wrong. My most anticipated is Final Fantasy VII.
Thank you, Ben.
Like it's not even. It's not even close.
I was staying
It's not
quiet
even
that
close.
whole time, and I was
It's
like,
not even
"Come on,
close. It's not even close.
someone."
Man. It's not even close. I think it was. I was just thinking about the games that people had brought up, and I picked Last of Us 2. But if you include Final Fantasy VII in that conversation, it's Final Fantasy VII.
I believe FF7 will be brought up 2020 GOTYs. I believe it'll be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Hope
excited.
so.
I believe it will be brought up,
Yeah.
and I believe it will be fought for.
Yeah.
And I believe-
I'm really torn on whether I want to play the new way or the turn-based way.
You play both.
You
Try
can
them
play
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch
It's
back
and
and
forth all the
forth.
time.
See which one you like more.
Blood, do you know if people are Google searching for Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy Remake Part 1?
Google Analytics.
Definitely no part 1 there.
It's fun. The other mode
Fun.
kind of turns boss wipes into fun opportunities because you're like, oh, if I have to fight this boss again, let me switch to the classic mode. See what
I
that's
thought
like.
you said boss wives.
Boss
That's
wife.
what I thought. I
I
was
was
going
like,
to
what
say
the
the
hell
same
is a
thing.
boss wife?
It's a new indie. It's like one of those indie games, right? Where you like
Yeah.
date the boss's wife, but it's like a video game boss, you know. So there's like a big like troll, and you like date the boss's wife. Is that not a thing?
Or your wife is a boss.
Right.
Jones.
Yeah, it's like that Twilight Princess boss, dude.
Right.
You guy's wife.
How cool is the idea of a game where you have to date a video game boss's wife, though?
Not very.
That I don't know about that.
I love this.
It's a beat 'em up, and then in between every beat 'em up level, you go on a date with like the end boss's wife, and so like depending on how smooth you are during that exchange, it changes that boss fight at the end of the game.
And
You're
that-
hurting more than any punch could because the guy's invincible.
Right.
The guy's invincible. And so the way to beat him is to date his wife.
Ian, you were asking what's come out in 2019.
Yeah.
GOTY.
Yeah.
Control.
Oh yeah, Control. That's the one.
No, it's Death
I gotta
Stranding.
finish it.
Why do we even talk about this? It's Death Stranding.
Because Ian
man.
and I love Control.
We'll have to see
A lot
how
of people
much
love Control.
gameplay is in Death Stranding.
It's a lot.
Death Stranding looks like it has like 500 different items,
Yeah.
and like they're all
Yeah,
effective.
you need Blackout.
It's
I
gonna
got
be
some gameplay
overwhelming.
thing, and he chucked like 15 different objects at this sludge monster he was fighting. It's like, ugh. All right.
Man, I
we go.
can't be the only one that feels this way. Like, don't you guys want to like wait until the year finishes out, consider it, and then like make an informed decision? Like, I feel like a crazy. I feel like a crazy person.
I'm ready to hand it over right now.
It's a 4-month deliberation process.
Brandon, was there a USB cable though?
Yes. You just keep
Fruit Loops?
all of it.
Are we still on that question?
Yes.
Info, Fruit Loops.
Oh no, we're on the GOTY 20.
No.
Oh my god. Next question.
Next question comes in from Carl. Hi, allies. My one question is for Michael P. Huber. First off, Huber, congrats to the Dodgers on making the playoffs next year. Since it's time for the MLB postseason, I'd ask this: who will beat the Dodgers in the World Series this year?
Next question. That's rude.
No.
That's
Yeah,
rude.
I haven't even finished the question. Yes, this is a serious question. There is no doubt LA will reach the Fall Classic for the third year in a row, although I'm hoping that will change. But if they do make it back yet again, which team will prolong LA's World Series drought? Personally, I'm rooting for Houston. Go Astros. Yeah, I see why you would say that.
Not to bring the mood down, but this year I've not really fallen follow the Dodgers because of what happened to my bro. So it's just like too painful. So I like have legit only watched like 10 games this year. So if you were to add like if the Dodgers even get to the World Series this year, I'm like gonna be so passive about it. Like if they win finally this year, it's gonna be really bittersweet because my bro won't be around to see it. So like I don't even care.
So go Yankees.
So yeah, sure. For Domino, he's wearing the hat right now, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other side. Yeah. Houston doesn't need to win anymore. They need to lose. They don't need to go to the World Series again. They also caused the Dodgers pain. So as long as the Astros don't go to the World Series, I'm happy.
It's just the perspective to me is so strange because it's like, oh, you only watch 10 Dodgers games. I can't imagine watching 10 Dodgers games in a year.
Dude. I watched like 150.
Hubert, is the Milwaukee Brewers still a team?
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah. They're amazing right now.
Are they really?
Wild card. Yeah, it's going to be them in Washington. 1 game wild card playoff to get the right to play the Dodgers in the first round.
Oh. Go Brewers. I'm on the Brewers.
The Brewers are there, Jones.
Wisconsin?
Milwaukee Brewers.
Nice.
Our next question comes in from Mike Hook. Hi, gang. Sega Genesis Mini is out, and I've been playing it endlessly. What console or gaming console would you like to see be made into a mini plug-and-play system, and what games or features would you want?
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Saturn. Saturn games
one of those two.
Are hard to. Some Saturn games are hard to get a hold of, and I think if you did it right, you could solve a lot of those problems, and it would be amazing.
Brad with that hair trigger Dreamcast.
Yeah,
Dreamcast would be great too.
Hot take. I want them to stop doing these and just bring them all out on Switch. Because like it's just so much better. Like the SNES on
release
Switch.
Controllers then.
Well, yeah, and like just like they did the SNES controller. That's a dope controller. Look at this thing. No wires.
So cool.
No wires.
Yeah, but I want to like actually own the games, so I'd rather not do that.
Oh, I don't care about that.
I know, but I want to own them so I can have them forever.
I also like the idea of the minis because it's such a cool thing to just show people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like it's this piece of history you can hold. You know. I don't know. I'm really sentimental about these mini systems. Just having them and having like past gaming memories just so easily accessible for you personally and to show others.
I think it's kind of a psychological thing because if you just put these games out digitally, it's like, well, now you have this huge pool of like, let's say you put them out on Switch. Well, it's like, okay, I've got all these Nintendo games, I've got all these indie games, I got like you have this thing. Whereas the mini is just like, no, I'm busting out the mini to play, you know, PlayStation or Super Nintendo or Genesis or whatever it is. So you're making a considered effort to play that console, and you get the controller, and so it's kind of mimicking that sensation of having the real thing, but it comes with all the convenience of just plugging it into the TV. And so I'm not opposed to the mini thing.
True.
But
Dreamcast.
You know,
N64.
I think they have to do a good job with it. Like, if they just shit it out, then...
I would love the N64 only for the weird games, only to, like, for someone to suggest... Because that's the thing, if all those came to Switch, Ian, like, I would skip a lot of that stuff, whereas, like they jammed them into a collection, I'd be like, all right, I'll try out this weird game that I just own now. And, like, hey, it actually was kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that's one of the keys on both. Either approach is that there is a collection of things that you can discover new ones rather than, oh, I have to pay $5 for that. I don't know. I'm not going to bother, you know, so having them bundled together is a really, really cool thing.
They just need to start putting a damn reset command on the controls. Like, stop making me get across the room and hit reset.
The Genesis Mini, you just hold down start.
Yeah. Like, Nintendo needs to do that.
I think the other thing, though, with them all being bundled together is, like, if you release all that stuff individually, you'll pick the stuff that you already know about or are interested in, whereas, like, having those minis, you get instances like with the Genesis mini where it's like, oh, you know, I probably wouldn't have checked that out, but I will since it already came out on this thing I have, which I do think is a benefit.
I don't know. I'm in love with Demon's Crest. That game
Yeah,
is
but
dope.
they released all that stuff in a bundle together on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
so I think if you do it that way, you kind of get the same effect.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question comes in from Oni Black Mage. Smash Bros. Announcing more fighters for the future, and the allies are next on the roster. For each of you, what would your splash card reveal text read? Examples: Pac-Man hungers for battle. Banjo-Kazooies are raring. Banjo-Kazooie, not Zooies, not plural. Banjo-Kazooie are raring to go.
Brandon's here to make a deal.
Ooh.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Ian's just happy to be here. I'm disappointed in all of you.
This takes like a while to think. There's something you can't come up on the spot.
Yeah, it's a good question. Not all of us, you know, have a business card in our pocket at all times.
Yeah. To make deals.
Can you repeat it one more time?
So, like, the idea, Huber, is that you're a Smash Brothers character. You need a saying. So it's like, you know, Huber's ready to shotgun your face or something like that. Just trying to give an example. I think I'm just trying to give an example.
Huber's ready to shotgun your face.
Then an ellipse, but then in a sexual way.
Asterisk, but in a sexual way.
But in a sexual way.
Just say like Brad's ready to shred or something like that.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like this question, but I just don't. I don't know.
Mine's like Kyle Bossman is improving his self-esteem. Look out!
There you go.
I like that, dude. That's sick.
Man,
Blood's been taking notes.
Yeah.
Blood's been taking notes. It's very good.
Blood takes you to the woods.
Yeah.
Brandon is the biggest camping aficionado.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Blood, different thing.
Blood
What I
taking
do in
you
the
to
woods with
the whole
people is
great
not
meat.
what you do in the woods with people. It's a different. It's a different thing.
Man, it's been a while. I love camping.
You know, I think I've settled on one that I like. Mine is going to be Ben wants to play. That's what
Ben wants to play.
Like
I really do like the taking notes. Even though like I didn't come up with it, I think it's pretty good.
Can't use
Yeah,
it.
it is very good.
And it also reminds me, since I just finished catching up, we just finished catching up on My Hero. Like it feels very appropriate for Smash.
We don't play enough Smash.
We don't.
We play
I gotta
far
be
too
honest.
much.
Yeah,
We don't play enough. I'm serious. This
Yeah.
isn't even
Definitely a
troll.
I haven't even
I'm not
played
even kidding.
Banjo or Hero yet.
there's definitely a segment of our audience that does not like it when we play Smash or thinks we play too much Smash. But I wish we played a lot more Smash. Yeah.
Just tell
Damiani's
me
gotta
and
be like,
I'll avoid those days.
Damiani's ready to troll or something. He loves trolling and fighting
The
games.
exquisite troll.
I think like I don't know. Damiani is a Triforce hero or something could be cool.
Tommy is a Triforce hero.
That game.
Something
that
with
no one
cheese.
likes. Something
Smell
with
that
cheese.
cheese.
Ready to
Smell that
cheese.
cheese, Damiani.
Damiani's bringing that stinky cheese.
Tommy, I just bring the cheese.
Or if your power has something about like changing people's like hit detection, like hit boxes.
Damiani detects a hit.
Yeah.
Wow,
It takes a
good.
hit.
really
There you
good.
All right. Our next question is from Jordan. Don't skip on DC Universe's Titans. This show is insane. Anybody watching?
No, but this casting news is just out of control. No, we're not. That's not with Titans. That's with the Arrowverse, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never mind.
Brandon
Tangent.
100 episode Arrowverse.
Which I'm also not watching, but yeah, I hear good things about Titans. People seem
Who
to not
has
hate it.
Who has the streaming service in the first place?
Not I.
Not I.
What service
Yeah.
is it on?
It's like
The D-
DCs.
Oh, the DC.
Yeah, the
Universe,
DC streaming service.
It's like I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, I want to watch it. Maybe if it ever comes to Netflix or Amazon or something.
It's not gonna though, right? Like that's their whole business prop.
Well, yeah, there's like weird things. I don't know. Sometimes I'm trying to think of like this is kind of a weird one, but like when The Killing got saved by Netflix,
Yeah.
they made season 4, but The Killing is also on Amazon, even though Netflix like financed it. So I don't know.
No, you do that all the
Gotcha,
time.
gotcha.
You can see the first couple seasons of like tons of weird shows from weird networks like on Netflix, like because then you get hooked and then you want to get another service.
All right.
Yeah.
It's schmut. But no, but that Arrowverse casting is out of control, man. The Crisis on Infinite Earths thing they're doing is like, wow, I almost kind of want to watch this.
Why? Tell me why.
Almost got me. They're bringing in like other people from other versions of Superman and or other these DC properties to disappear as themselves. So Tom Welling is coming in to be that Superman from Smallville, like
Brandon Roth from Superman Returns.
Brandon Routh. They got one of the gals from the Birds, like the really short-lived Birds of Prey show, to come back and like play that character again, and like
Kevin Conroy as Batman.
as old Batman. Yeah, it's like
That's funny.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
so.
But we're only 700 episodes behind, so
Yeah.
gotta catch up.
Omar watches those, and I've definitely like wandered into his room because I'm like, what's all this yelling? And then like seen an episode of like the Arrow and the Flash and whatever, and like you can follow it.
Yeah, just jump in.
Just jump right in for these.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Our next question comes in from Ulf himself. What's the strangest third-party accessory you've ever had? I had the Game Boy player for the N64 that did play games, but saves didn't work. I actually didn't even know there was a Game Boy player for the N64. That's cool.
Yeah.
Third party accessory, huh?
I had a glove controller for the PlayStation that had like a thumb D-pad and the buttons were on your fingers, but like to go up and down or something, you had to like move your wrist like this. It was
Weird.
not good.
I can imagine.
It was really strange.
The Xbox Kinect.
That's not third party though. That's the trick.
Right, no. The Game Boy, the original Game Boy was so funny because like everything you had for it was so bulky, and I love like there was this light panel that you would stick on top of the Game Boy that would like be around the size of the screen and would just like spit light onto the screen like from the sides.
I remember that.
And like I think it took 4 AA batteries. So like the thing on top of the Game Boy, which would make it so much like top heavier now, it was just crammed with batteries, was like bigger than the thing that supplied the light. It's just like, oh, Game Boy. Plus you need those
plugged into a thing on the Game Boy so that like if you had the battery charge pack, it powered both the Game Boy and the light.
I remember the Game Boy Advance just had a little squiggly light that they kind of like they make the bookmarks with that. You could just like clip onto a book and you got a little panel right there. So it got better over time. But that first one I got was so funny.
I had a TV tuner for my Game Gear that you like slid into the cartridge thing and had an antenna on it. But my dad always like kept it in his room because he thought I was addicted to television. And he was right. He was right.
Had the TV tuner and I had the magnifying.
Yeah.
Game Gear. It's like this giant magnifying glass.
Yeah.
You slap it on the Game Gear.
Yeah, I had that for Game Boy.
The Game Gear was dope.
It's not a third-party accessory, but it might be the only opportunity to bring this up. I had a Tiger Gamecom, which was its own like portable system that had like Sonic the Hedgehog on it.
Whoa.
And it was really weird, and no one ever talks about it. But I had one of those things. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately.
It had Doom, right?
I think it had Duke Nukem, if I'm remembering correctly. I didn't have Duke. Yeah, it was black and white.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
Yeah.
The funny thing is Nintendo and Sony have had so many weird first-party things.
Yeah.
That it's like man, because I've got like the e-reader, I've got the bongos, I've got the Eye of Judgment.
Dude, yeah.
We should play Eye of Judgment, dude.
I've always kind of wanted to just check out Eye of Judgment.
Me too.
I've always been curious about it. Yeah.
Me too.
How many cards could they have released, honestly?
Yeah, like 20.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all I got was that starter pack. But
When's Ring Fit Adventure? That's like a week or two.
18th, yeah.
Oh, sick. I'm so stoked. I'm going to play that for a day. It's going to be awesome.
Our next question comes in from KY79. Hello, allies. I personally think that endings are very important to any work. A great ending could leave you with a positive last impression, despite any potential misgivings you could have had. While a terrible ending could sour the whole experience, even if you were really enjoying it beforehand. What are some of your favorite endings? Whether it's a satisfying ending that ties things up cleanly, or has some crazy twist that completely changes everything.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That ending.
Having just watched that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
One of the
It is
best
amazing.
endings, I would say, ever.
Yeah.
But not for the way you're thinking. Like if you haven't seen it, it's not like a Usual Suspects. Like what? It just like and the other thing too is when people talk about endings, like I'm always talking about to the second, because like you can mess it up in 5 seconds. You know, like there are movies that I'm like, oh yeah, it wrapped up well, but literally the thing that like Jaws has a great ending, but then they like paddle towards the beach, and then there's like weirdly happy music, and it's like, what the hell? Like Jaws has a really weird ending.
During
like
the credits,
the end of the movie is really powerful, but like how it resolves itself, but the actual quote unquote ending. Sneakers, great ending.
Yeah.
Jones, a good version of the credits being part of the movie is Last Crusade. They just literally ride off into the sunset the whole shot.
Yeah.
Ugh, it makes me so like happy and sad at the same time.
Final Fantasy VI is gonna be one of my all-time favorites
man.
forever. There's so much going on there. It's like 20-30 minutes too. It's like
on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
You just kick back and watch. Like
all of those different themes and
the movie Let the Right One In, the original, has a really, really good ending because it makes it like recontextualizes the whole movie. It's really good.
Metal Gear Solid 4, favorite ending of all time.
What an ending.
Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, is I like the ending in Metal Gear Solid 4, but Metal Gear Solid 3 was amazing. Silent Hill 2 is probably my favorite
Silent
game
2
ending.
is good. Which one? There are 6.
Yeah, and it kind of speaks to what Jones was saying. I think I'm just talking about like the revelations that come at the end. So maybe not fair, but
I never hear people praise it, but I am obsessed with the way GTA 5 ends. I love it, and I don't ever really hear people talk about the ending.
I mean, you talked about me with the phone calls, right?
Yeah.
That like past the ending, like even after the fact, like you still get echoes and reverberations when you're just running around the world. Like you'll get text messages, see stuff happen online, hear stuff on the radio. That all is like the aftermath of everything you did.
Mm-hmm. I just love that whole sequence, man. That moment of like, yo, you go there, I go there. Just
and you can let these characters die.
Yeah.
My friend, Legend Grumbomb, Notorious, killed Trevor.
Yeah.
Just killed him. He's like, I didn't trust him, man. I didn't trust him. He was going to rat me out.
Yeah. Legitimate. He's loose cannon.
I think about Breaking Bad, especially in the wake of Game of Thrones, you know, or BSG, you know, where it's like, if you don't stick the landing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think Breaking Bad totally did.
Scared about El Camino. Like,
me too. I'm like kind of worried.
Don't ruin a good thing.
I'm like, don't poke the bear, guys. What are you doing?
It's like Toy Story 4. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen yet.
It's fine. It's a nice new chapter for.
Pixar rarely does wrong.
2 things come to my mind. I love Kingdom Hearts 3's ending, and I love actually the Sandlot's ending.
Yeah.
Of all the kids just growing up and showing what they're doing, and at the end with him being the announcer for the Dodgers games and the other guy with
Does he have a mustache now?
Yeah, I love that, dude. It's so good.
He's doing it.
I love that.
Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
So cheesy. I love that one of the kids just disappears.
Yeah.
You never heard from him again.
Yeah.
All
right.
fades away.
That's so true to life, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes
too real, dude.
Yeah.
Man, remember
He got
when
really
movies
into the
used to do
60s or something, and you never heard from him again.
Last of Us ending, obviously.
Controversial, yeah.
Love it.
I love it. I loved it.
Yeah, I love it.
I had fun.
Pull the trigger, Joel.
Reminded me a little bit of like Half-Life 2, which also great. Half-Life 2. Oh man. Just because it introduced a whole new type of video game ending to me, which is just like have fun, go nuts. Like the end of Journey. It's like go, have fun, reward yourself. You deserve this. Like you had to put up with a lot of stuff. Now you can fly, go. And so it's like games like that are fun. They give you a tool, make you a little overpowered.
But isn't that cliffhanger ending annoying?
That I was going to say Half-Life 2 didn't end.
Yeah.
I want to give a nod to a game without a serious story, but I think a really good ending, Super Mario Odyssey.
Sure.
I think it has such a good ending. I really love everything that you go through toward the end there.
Which part is the ending?
Where they're playing this weird song as you inhabit Bowser's body.
Oh yeah.
And then Bowser and Mario both propose to Peach, and she won't have either of them.
Oh right. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And then they were like,
Ian,
okay.
Ian, I'll throw you a bone. I like the epilogue so much, but the end of the like quote unquote campaign of Red Dead 2 is very like that dragged itself out way too long.
Yeah, the epilogue is one of my favorite parts of that game.
Yeah, the epilogue is beautiful. Beautiful.
The Missing. Really, really.
Oh yeah,
incredible,
yeah, absolutely
incredible ending. Good lord. Ugh, that game is so good.
Our next question comes in from David. Thanks for your answers last week, or I think last month, guys. I decided to buy a Switch and I love it. I feel weirdly confident that the Switch Lite and the upgraded Switch means there won't be a Pro, but even so, I'll be happy regardless. Anyway, a recent Easy A podcast spurring a quick chat on arcades had me wondering, what are some of your fondest memories, past or present? Now with games like Luigi's Mansion, Dark Escape 4D, and others, do you think arcades are still pushing the boundaries of their gaming scene, or is there something arcades need to keep us coming back and stay relevant? Just looking for your arcade hot takes.
I'll always remember going into Mike Buddy used to work at Mike Buddy, not my buddy. He also is my buddy. Used to work at GameWorks, and came into GameWorks one time near the end of his shift, and he was playing Guitar Freaks. And I like walked up to him and I was like, the hell is this? And he's like, dude, check this out. He's like, you hit these buttons and then you play. And he's like, the only thing that's dumb about it is they just have weird, stupid songs that they wrote, like the developers wrote, because they don't have enough money to get the licensed songs. He's like, if the Red Hot Chili Peppers were in this game, this is the only video game I would play.
That's really
funny. I just always remember, I kind of looking at him and recognizing like they probably will someday. And it's funny that you know, little timestamp like before all that happened.
The first time I went, the answer to the end of your question is booze, I guess, because like barcades are like the new hotness in LA anyway. But like, the first time I went to 82, which is a barcade out here, they had discs of Tron.
Nice.
And I fell in love. That game is amazing. And then they got rid of it, and now I can't play discs of Tron anymore.
My favorite thing about arcades, even to this day, and it was especially magical as a kid, is like going into an arcade and you didn't know what you were going to find. And you probably didn't even know that said thing existed. And so like a lot of light gun games or just a lot of general arcade games, I didn't know about beforehand, and I just got to play them there. And I think that's something that Round One does really well. Well, they'll bring a Japanese cabinet over, and it's like, oh, I've never heard about this before, and I wouldn't get to experience outside of this moment. But like, that was how I fell in love with Metal Slug. Like, there was just a Metal Slug 3 machine, and I played it, and I was like, this is where have you been all my life? And I love that feeling of discovery that I think, you know, in an age of like being able to have access to information all the time, getting moments where you get those genuine surprises and fall in love with something are really special.
Going to a Japanese arcade was an amazing experience. Like seeing that like get angry and flip the table over game was so good. And
I've always wanted to play that.
Oh, it's so good. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then like, well, what is it called? House of the Dead 4D, or the one that like
Oh, the ride one.
shoots air.
I think the question asker actually put that in Dark Escape 4D. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that one. Yeah. I played that in Japan first before it came over here, and I was like, when I saw it over here, I got all my friends. I was like, go into it. It's great. I think that I can never remember what it's called, but yeah, that was a unique experience. And like playing an arcade game where you literally don't understand what you're supposed to even do because it's in Japanese.
Right.
It's a fun experience.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I love about arcades, though, is I love going and seeing the diehards with the rhythm games where you just see them moving like they're in the Matrix, they're Neo, and they're just like, whoa, like you've clearly put in the time to be awesome at this, and it's just really impressive to see. I love that.
Was it just a question like what arcade games do we remember fondly or something?
Best
like
memories. Best arcade
there's
memories.
There's memories, and then there's another question of like, are arcades still pushing the boundaries? Do you think there's something they need to keep us coming back? Yeah.
The term is memories. Playing like King of Fighters, like 95, way back in the day, was with one of my friends, was so sick all the time.
More Kombat with my bro.
Sorry, what?
Just Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh, yeah. One of the ones I was trying to remember because it was in one of the bowling alleys when I was a kid. I looked up, it's Galaxy Force, and it's a Sega, like, kind of first-person flying shooting game, kind of like Star Fox in a way, but like the cabinet, it looks like a lunar lander or something. And it moves around like as you're controlling it, so it's just this crazy. Like it felt like being in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, this thing. Definitely seen that before. Never got to play it. Pretty cool. Getting to finally play F-Zero AX, an actual machine. Like I always wanted to play that version, and there was one that had it, and now there's like maybe one in the entire United States left. The place that had it out here in California, there used to be like 3 places. They all got rid of them. So I don't even know if there's a working one anymore in the U.S.
Damn.
I think I know where there's one, Damiani.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't. Is it privately owned?
No, in my old neighborhood.
You sure? Because there's a tracker that the Nintendo guys run, and like they said there's no more in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as of like fall of last year, they're all gone.
Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough.
But if it's still there, let me know. You see it. I still have the license. You can print out a license. It has so many uses and stuff, and you get level up points every time. And I never maxed it out. I was close, but I was scared it would use up all the things because you have to print off a new one if you use up all the things. And I was scared the printer wasn't going to work anymore on the machine there. I was like surprised it even worked at all. I was like, oh, I don't want this to run out.
Real quick, if we're talking like favorite memories, and this is one that I totally had forgotten about because it was just before GT closed, is we all went to Dave & Buster's. That horse racing game that Don was so into, where you print out a ticket and you raise your horse and you name it, and like that horse exists within the game's world. It was so cool. And so Don was super, super into this a really intense, high-budget horse racing arcade game. It was so fun to watch him get into it.
Yeah, you have like papers for your horse.
Yeah.
Now I just want to do that. Like now I just want to watch Don get into. All right.
And he had the card in his wallet. He had the horse in his wallet.
Yep.
That beautiful Don smile. Our next question comes in from Asbo Zapruder / Screaming Argonaut. Good afternoon, allies. Ready for another video game vacation? This time, it will not just be a vacation. It will be an Odyssey. Not just any Odyssey, a Super Odyssey. And not just any Super Odyssey, a Super Mario Odyssey. Mm-hmm. You will be landing in Bonton, where you'll each be given your own cappy with which to possess and manipulate the citizens of the places you'll be visiting. So in addition to where you plan to visit, we'll need 2 additional pieces of information. What sort of hat will your cappy take the form of? What feature will appear on the poor, innocent creatures you possess? Think Mario's mustache, but it doesn't have to be a physical trait. It can be an item of clothing, an accessory, or an object. We just need something to let us know that Goomba over there is actually you.
I'm really sorry because it's not going to allow to have NPCs, but I want to go to the moon, so I'm doing the moon and hoodie.
Hoodie's good.
Mine's like the cowboy hat.
Where are you going though? Which stage?
It's got to be a stage from Odyssey.
Yes.
I'll get back to you. Sorry.
Okay.
I can't remember the name in the game, but I want to go to that foresty area, the woods one.
That's a good pick.
And then I guess...
A wooded kingdom.
Oh, okay. I guess it would either get my glasses or my hair. It'd be pretty funny to see a Goomba with, like, long hair. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I would definitely go to that, the second one with the dinosaurs. And, let's get a T-Rex and a leather jacket. Let's do that.
I'm going to the food level.
Food
Nice pick.
Level look delicious.
I was gonna go to the food level. I will join you there.
Yeah.
Going to the intro town, dude. Culmination.
The hat place?
The like ghost area.
That's
Yeah.
where they said we all landed there, and then we go somewhere else from there.
I'm not leaving.
Okay.
Here's the thing I normally get when you say culmination. Why do you call that thing the culmination?
Dude, where's the ghost house in Odyssey, man?
So it's an anti.
Where is it?
It's cut
Yeah,
content.
Culmination.
That whole area. Loved it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of Odyssey. Honestly,
Oh,
that's
I
why I
didn't know
said
that. That's cool.
Yep. Favorite part.
Funny.
Good vibes for sure.
Yep.
I think as far as like trait, I don't know if it's physical, but whatever creature I possess just suddenly has less money in more games.
Like when they run, like cartridges and stuff are just like falling
Yeah.
out behind them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
You can like slip on them.
Yeah, and they're like, "Where's my wallet?"
All right. Oh, go ahead, Damian.
I'd go to the Mushroom Kingdom, and my hat would let me clip through everything, so I could just go into the Peach's Castle, the rest of it, and play the entirety of Mario 64, which is hidden there.
Yep.
My hat would be like you
A
put
shark.
it down and it's a ninja mask.
Sick.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. All right.
Wait, dude. Can the hat be a Naruto headband?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's kind of what I was thinking of anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, totally, man. Go for
didn't
it.
leave,
Imagine like
dude.
the headband with eyes too, like Kathy.
Yeah.
That's really funny, dude.
Our next question is from I. Sanchez. So, Allies, next year might be one of the best years in video game history. Just the start of 2020 is ridiculous.
Here we go.
We can safely say it is the end of the generation. What is your GOTY 2020 contender as of right now?
Final
Did
Fantasy
it.
VII Remake.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
baby.
So 2019 GOTY.
Yeah,
Really fun.
right.
We've got Resident Evil, we've got Control, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3,
Oh man, this is gonna be an annoying one, huh?
we've got Death Stranding,
I'm telling you, it's a Hearthstone year.
Yeah,
we've
some
got
weird
Shenmue
thing is gonna
3
win.
coming out.
Death Stranding's gonna be impressive, but it's gonna be controversial.
Yeah.
You thought
We
Red
got
Dead was slow.
Apex Legends. Argument there. Not for me, but
No, there's no argument there.
dude, Apex Legends, good game.
Yeah, but it's
good
not
game.
GOTY material.
I
So-
guarantee Apex Legends gets GOTY somewhere.
I'll take that bet.
I will take that bet. That is
Okay.
not happening.
So, dude, you guys lose because there's like 700 GOTYs now.
No, but we're saying
Anywhere
game,
on the internet,
No,
somebody
but-
says,
someone
What
has
about-
to say game of the year, not like esports game of the year.
no, game of the year, guaranteed. Like,
That is,
or it's already done.
you are out of your mind.
Hubert just
Friendly
created like a
with-
new blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what my 2020 GOTY contender is.
The front
Like it
runner,
even.
though.
Yeah,
What's
but
the one you think will win the most awards?
We haven't even
It-
played. Have you played any of them? Like,
No,
Peter
but-
got to play Last of Us now.
At this point, Blood,
We
I
played Final
know,
Fantasy 7.
I know that you can recognize quality games. You can have a good idea of how good a game will be before you play it. I know you do.
Dude, Sekiro.
Blood, what is the front runner for 2020? Is it Breath of the Wild 2?
Don't fall into this trap.
So I googled 2019 Game of the Years, and it's like, here are all the Game of the Years so far. Apex Legends 29 Game of the Year contender. Boom.
Whoa. Okay.
Twinfinite.
From
Done.
who?
Okay.
Twinfinite. It's a good site.
Yeah, but they
Super
didn't
Mario
award it. They
2?
didn't award it.
True. Still, it's a contender.
They're just saying it because it came out this year. Like my son.
Dude, Bloodstained. 2019
That seems
rules.
Yeah. It's a good year.
It's
For
the
video
Bloodborne
games.
prequel. That's what it is.
Yeah, Bloodborne 2, GOTY.
Bloodborne 2, there it is. Lock it in.
At launch.
Next Q.
Lock it in. My 2020 GOTY.
Elden Ring. I'll lock that in.
Elden. Yep. There it is, Brad.
Has that been confirmed for 2020?
No!
No.
I was going to say.
All right. Deadly Premonition 2 will win Game of the Year 2020. There
Somewhere.
you go. Somewhere. Yes, that's
Yeah.
never qualified.
Somewhere.
At weirdgames.net.
Every game wins GOTY somewhere.
Hey, I
The internet
work
is
for that site.
fast.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, actually, we did play Final Fantasy VII. So,
Yeah, so I said, yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty good. Next question comes in from Joey. What is your favorite video game story?
Arthas.
Ooh, that's a good
what
one.
a pick, Jones.
Because it was like real time. He sat there, man. Like he sat there for a long time, and it wasn't like it's one thing. It's like Khan from Star Trek. It's one thing if you have a villain that like comes like in the comics where like, oh, they're dead, and then later they're like, I'm not dead. Like there's a reason he was not around. Like he went up there to hang out there for a while. Like that was how the story was written. So when he came back, it was like, yes, we've been waiting for that. Like we knew that it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that with playing that with friends, like. Insane. Electric.
I have too many.
Final Fantasy IX is my pick.
Aww.
It's a good pick.
The Missing's real good. Shadow of the Colossus is real good.
Sure.
It's different because the difference between the question is saying favorite, not necessarily saying best.
Yeah.
But because I think the video game story that had the most impact on me at the time was the original Metal Gear Solid. Like, it was just it was obsession with story specifically. Final Fantasy IX is a good pick. Silent Hill 2 is another one that just keeps popping up.
Silent Hill 2 might take the cake for me.
I'm gonna pull a Bloodworth here and like not rank these. Classic Bloodworth move. I'm not ranking them.
That's funny.
Out of the blue, point blank. Like, there's something that I don't remember, I'm sure.
I also really like the story in Valkyria Chronicles a lot. Like I like it a lot. I don't necessarily think it handles like everything the absolute best that it could, but when I played it, it definitely left an impression on me for sure. All right. Next question comes in from Max. This question is not for the air.
Oh.
It's not relevant to anyone but me. Okay, bear with me. Okay. Wait, so
it doesn't want to, but I don't know how we're going to answer it.
So if you ever want to DM Ben.
Well, no, it's okay. It's not for me, but I guess we'll just not read this on the air, just in case. Okay.
Just slack it to the person in question and they can say their answer as concisely as possible.
Sure.
without context.
Sure.
I think it'll be hilarious.
Sure. I miss hanging out with Arthur Morgan. I have been yearning to just hear Arthur Morgan speak.
Boot it up.
How about you?
Yeah.
Dom?
Boot it up.
Boot it
Any
up.
itch?
I mean,
It's
not Morgan.
1,000
I'm
hours.
way into online now. I got my own guy now.
Nice.
I myself am living in that world now. And it is
Nice.
dope. Great.
Our next question comes in from Michael. Hello, Easy Allies. I know it's early, but I think that Nintendo's E3 2020 can be magical. A lot of 2020 questions.
Yeah.
How about a new and updated Switch with Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, Mario Galaxy 2, Bayonetta 3, Mario Kart 9, or do you think I'm dreaming a bit too much?
Yes.
You can never dream too much.
Are
All
they
of
ever
those-
going to make another Mario Kart ever?
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
no incentive to.
They
I mean,
sure
it
will.
sells every month. There's no incentive to rush to a new one yet. So I don't think you'll see a new one yet.
Damn, Damiani, that hurts.
And there's that stupid phone game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's where it
I don't
just
think
came
you'll
out.
see a new Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch. I'd be very surprised.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Why?
So I mean, there is a funny narrative here, though, right? Because like E3 2020 is 2 new consoles, so Nintendo I think will show up hard.
Yeah, they usually counter console launches with like killer software.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
like to go head to head. So I highly doubt next Switch is going to be at E3 or announced at E3 at least, because they don't want to get dwarfed out or drowned out by the PS5 and Scarlet. So they're just going to lead with their best software, which will probably be Breath of the Wild 2, hopefully Odyssey 2. I think Odyssey 2 is very realistic, and at least one other big
Metroid.
game.
Metroid.
It won't be that year. It won't be next year, but they can at least show it off to get people
Yeah.
excited for the future. Probably for like 2021. But one other like playable thing, I think Odyssey and Breath of the Wild will be playable at E3, which will be like, holy shit, the line's gonna be fun for that. Throw in one more game, like maybe Bayonetta 3 is also playable there. It's like, okay,
Yeah, Bayonetta.
killer line. And they're all coming out like next year. I'll be like, okay.
That would be, that's killer, Damiani, for sure.
I just think you don't hear about the next Switch till after the launches of PS5. Like, yeah, I don't think you'll hear.
Seeing that Xenoblade remake, but probably like a
Oh yeah, with Monolith's new project.
house thing. It probably won't be on the floor.
I just think there's a lot of reports about them extending the current Switch model's life. It's like the Switch is getting a new screen, like the OG Switch, just so it'll be a third SKU, I guess. They're just not powering it up yet, so I think they're waiting till like 2021, honestly.
So you don't think a Switch Pro is next year?
We'll hear rumors about it, and there'll be leaks starting like around summer and fall, and it won't probably get announced till 2021 for
Wow.
probably a release in 2021.
Cool.
What a weird thing, like, pro consoles. Didn't expect
Well,
I don't know if it's a
Nintendo
Pro or
has been doing it all along for handhelds, so
That's true. They just like update them, right? They don't even
Game
like,
Boy Color was a pro console.
yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Bad point.
Yeah.
It counts. I'll count that.
Yeah.
We had the Game Boy Color. We didn't really have one for GBA, but we had the DS. What was it?
The new,
Yeah, the DSi.
new, Ian.
Yeah.
Game Boy
Yeah.
Advance SP, I would count as
Game
a
Boy
pro.
Advance SP for sure.
Because it had the
Micro-
backlight.
the backlight and the micro I thought had slightly better processing power, just a bit. DSi had better processor than the OG DS.
DSi, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and then 3DS and new 3DS.
I think, Kyle, the thing I was thinking that was kind of differentiating was that like it's the DSi and the new 3DS they're doing stuff that the old ones just like do. You know, like it couldn't play those games in the same way. Whereas, yeah, the SP it had a light, which made a huge difference, but it wasn't.
I thought it was, yeah, better processor as well.
And you could plug it in. But yeah, I get you, bud.
Plug it in, plug it in.
And it had a clamshell,
Mm-hmm.
which was all the rage. So you could go, we gotta go back, Kate. Like
We
that.
got to go back.
Or you could just stick it in your pocket and not worry about scratching anything.
Whoa.
Are you-
Yeah, I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is still
It's cooking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That reveal is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be excited for that.
Yeah.
We're all going to come together.
Mm-hmm. And they'll
Just
shadow
reveal it.
drop the
Don't give me no
shadow
confidence
drop
from
the
trailers.
shadow drop the
that.
Prime Trilogy remaster that day too. Catch up. Here you go, world.
They look at you and they're like, it's pre-installed on your Switch. All you have to do is hit the button.
Mm-hmm.
We already billed your credit card.
All right. Our next question comes in from Caesar. Music library, the PSP, PS Vita, go.
Oh God.
I'm gonna
Crisis
send this
Persona-
one
Core.
out.
What?
No expertise here.
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core.
Persona 1 through
Tearaway?
4.
Gravity Rush?
Gravity
Gravity
Rush.
Rush.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice. I didn't even play it.
Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories.
Tearaway had cute music.
Mhm.
God of War, Chains of Olympus, and
Yeah.
Go Through Sparta. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Peace Walker. I was about to say Peace Walker. Yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
I'm just get Googled PSP
Actually, how
games.
about
Which one?
does Luminous count?
Yeah, it's on there. What about all the Patapon games and Loco Roco? All that?
Patapon.
Does Cydia have some good remixes?
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. There's 2 of them on there, so yeah. And then put in that Birth by Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Uncharted Golden Abyss has some pretty good music in there. I just don't remember.
Oh, boy, I don't remember.
All right. Final Fantasy Type 0.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
OSC Tactics on there.
War of the Lions.
Yeah.
Trails in the Sky. Yes, definitely.
Does
Oh,
Danganronpa count, Ben Moore?
Danganronpa
yeah.
definitely counts.
Oh,
Danganronpa
yeah.
has fantastic music. Yes.
Heck yeah.
Hell
We need to get
yes.
back to those games.
I feel like we've just listed every game on the
I mean, every game
PSP
is
and
out
Vita.
on PSP, pretty much. Oh, that's every Vita game that existed.
Yeah,
The
we've just
East-
listed them all.
This series is generally regarded to have excellent music as well. So throw that in.
Probably Silent Hill Book of Memories. Lol.
Actually, I think I have that CD around somewhere.
You maniac.
They said
Ridge Racer's music's pretty sick on PSP, actually.
Ridge Racer. How do you
Yeah.
not do it every time you,
You
hear
can't
Ridge
not.
Racer?
Yeah, you have to.
Every time. So good.
Oh yeah, like the original Final Fantasy 1 and 2 came out on PSP as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Was it 4 on there?
Yep, the complete complete
Yeah.
collection's on there. Yeah.
That's my favorite version of the old of Final Fantasy 1. Yeah. Cool.
All right, I'm looking through a real list now. Let's see what else. Oh, Wipeout Pure. Wipeout Pure music.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
I think I might read that too.
Totally forgot the Vita died this year. This year.
It died.
Anyone play
Ago.
John d'Arc?
Oh,
I have not played Joan of Arc.
Just real brief.
I
don't
believe
remember a
I
lot.
had to play it for game trailers for gameplay or something. Or yeah, I had to play that. Someone in the office at the time was excited for that game. I forget who.
I bought it, never played it.
I mean, Justin.
Resistance Retribution is worth looking into. I really like that game. I don't remember the music quite off the top of my head.
I thought Resistance, the Resistance PSP game was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I had to do gameplay for that one as well.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
Mentioned that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we safely got the good ones.
Crisis Core.
Yeah, I said that
You
already.
said that, yeah.
Okay.
We've come full circle.
Let me look at Vita. Then.
Uh,
Oh, Rayman Origins was on Vita. That's good. Sound Shapes. That's a game all about music.
Sound Shapes is awesome. Yeah, Sound Shapes is very, very good and has fantastic music. Yeah. Oh man, I miss Sound Shapes. That'd be a fun game to revisit, and didn't get enough love. Our next question comes in from Simon. Hey guys, keep up the great work. I'm not sure if any of you are fans of James Bond, but if so, Who is your favorite actor to play the role, and what is your favorite Bond film?
My favorite GoldenEye is probably my favorite. Moonraker was my favorite as a kid. GoldenEye is my favorite now. I loved Moonraker was so great. At Jaws, and they're in space, and it was so cool. He shoots a guy out of a tree with a shotgun, like blind, I think, in Moonraker, which is pretty dope. Like they go hunting, and so like assassin's gonna kill him from a tree, and he's just like, and Drax is like, you missed, and then the guy like falls out of the tree. He's like, did I? Roger Moore, so great. I love Craig. Craig's really great.
Yeah.
I think Craig's my favorite.
I love them all. Like, there's no bad one. Even Lazenby. Like, I love them all for different reasons. But like, Craig looks like he's been in a fight. Craig looks like he's killed a man. Like, there's something about Craig that's dangerous, and like I miss that so much. I'm stoked we get at least one more with him.
Dude, I bought this for $15 the other day.
Nice.
Daniel Craig collection.
You know what's interesting to go back? Yeah, is how angry everyone was when Craig got it.
Before the new one again. I haven't seen I only saw Skyfall and Spectre once.
$15.
That was about
$15 for four. Dude, you gotta watch Bond on Blu-ray, man. Those games look, or 4K, whatever. Like, can't stream that, dude. Can't compromise the look of Bond. Too crisp.
Yeah, Casino Royale.
Yeah, for me, Daniel Craig, Casino Royale. Mm-hmm. It's funny.
Casino Royale is so goddamn good.
So the same director as GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Casino Royale. Martin Campbell.
There's a really weird movies with Mikey about James Bond that he did like a month ago, and it was very strange because it was about like he ends up just saying like I'm gonna take a break from you, James Bond, because it's too like misogynistic or whatever, but it like didn't mention Spectre at all. Not that Spectre helped that, but it didn't mention Daniel Craig thinking the character was sexist. It didn't mention them like bringing up Phoebe Waller-Bridge for the new one to make it less sexist. It was very weird video. I like movies with Mikey a lot. I just thought it was strange he didn't mention that stuff. I like James Bond though. It's weird. Yeah.
Skyfall. Really good song.
She doesn't let it rip though. You want her to let it rip, and she kind of never does.
I'm with you, Ian. It's a dumb critique, but I know what you mean.
The whole song builds, and then she doesn't just shred into it. You really expect her to, and she doesn't.
She's wonderful though.
Oh yeah, she's great.
I don't like any of the other Craig Bonds as much as I like Casino Royale, though. Like,
so good, man.
It's not even as close.
Each one has an amazing visual set piece. Each of them. Of the remaining four. But like, yeah, none of them hold together as well as Casino Royale, I think. Even though Casino Royale ends like 3 times. But apparently the book does too. So.
Ava Green, dude.
Ava
too
Green,
good.
Ava
Way
Green.
too epic.
Ava
God,
Green,
I love it.
Can't handle it.
Yeah, so awesome.
Our next question comes in from Ebo Show. Huber said in a mandatory update that Jones took Huber aside and told him not to touch him. Huber just went to him to get hyped on GTA 5. How long did this last?
That was when I first met Jones.
That was at E3. That was at E3. And it was only because, and it wasn't because of me. It wasn't. It wasn't because of me. It was because we were around the Keeley crew, and Huber would come in every day and like grab my shoulder, like right on the neck, and would just be like, "You threw it!" It would like shake me, and I'm like, "Ha!"
GTA.
And like, if I was in the office now and Huber did that, like nothing could make me happier. But like, we were in a setting where like there were all these people, like there were celebrities coming and going, and so I just like pulled him aside, and I was like, maybe ease off of the forceful groping, you know, even with consensual members of the same sex, like just careful. But I only say it, you know, in retrospect because it's so quintessentially beautifully Huber.
Yep.
That the man just has so much love. He just
he did that to me
shakes it into you
before I knew really even who he was.
Yeah, you ran into
That's what
classic
Dark
story.
Basin is from. I'm just like, who was that? What the hell?
Because with you, Ian, and with you, Jones, I could see the hype levels for Souls and GTA.
We were also kin. Like you could tell right away. Like when I went, it was the film fest, right? When you came up to me and said you were a fan, I was like,
Yeah.
this guy,
Jones, dude.
he and I get along.
Should see him in high school, dude.
I can't imagine.
I don't even want.
It's like I want you know the young Sheldon. Like I want a young Huber show. Like let's cast a young Huber and a young Brad, like the Dumb and Dumber prequel. You know, and like
yeah, it's pretty much the same as now, except Huber would get in trouble at school a lot.
Yes.
Sent to the office.
Yes.
Yeah. Very disruptive.
Very disruptive, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Huber, that's why I got into theater, because teachers told me that I was acting out too much. And they were like, you have to find an outlet for him because he's just, it's not the class for sure.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yep.
If your kid is crazy, consider the arts.
Or they should make high school challenging or interesting.
Oh.
Oh.
Next question comes in from Discarded Digit. What is one new thing you'd like to see in the Breath of the Wild sequel not related to Link, Zelda, or Ganon?
Proper dungeons.
Yeah, dungeons. The first thing that came to mind.
That and more items.
More items, baby. Bring back the invisibility cloak, Damiani.
Sneaking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's like sensors that could see you and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I just want the hook shot in three, like
Oh,
that.
the hook shot, dude.
Like in a wide open space, it's like, where can I hook
Yeah,
shot
you can hook
to?
shot onto everything.
And when you're gliding and then hook shot, and then you can like launch Batman,
Yeah,
like
you're just
you were
Batman,
like
yeah.
Batman, like launching yourself with the grappling gun, and then like, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, it'd be good.
A casino.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's good, Kyle. Dragon Quest on his mind for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Dragon Quest 11, boss man, the best casino, dude. Get ready. It's my favorite.
I love like the idea of getting sweet loot as a reward for just gambling for too long.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting one of the best weapons in the game just because you just kept gambling. It's so funny to me.
I really get a sense from that one tiny trailer that we're going to get some kind of an underworld to match the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to something that's akin to Zelda 1, burning a bush somewhere and like falling down a hole and then just being lost in some really cool place for a while.
That's a good answer, Blood.
Bush holes.
Nudity.
No, thank you.
Tasteful.
Tasteful, Blood. Tasteful.
They should bring back the auction house concept that they had
From
in the
Waker?
Wind Waker, but this time around it is you can sell stuff that goes. It's the online component where you find an item in the game, like a certain sword, and then if you don't want to use it, you put it on the auction house, and then people can bet rupees on it.
No, do you charge real money and it just turns into Diablo 3 all over again?
You have a player avatar you have to create to represent yourself in the auction, so you all have to like do the bet. It's still kind of a game where you can interrupt people if you place your bet first.
You know, something that I definitely don't want is material farming. Like,
oh, you're gonna get it,
You're gonna get that.
But I mean,
easier to buy
like,
it.
There will be crafting.
Common stuff that you get like naturally, I'm okay with. But when it's like, here's this like really hard to get thing, like with the dragons, right? Like these really hard to get things. It's cool to do it once, and okay, I got the thing. But then they're like, oh, you need 6 of those. And I'm like, what?
Earn it.
Then it becomes annoying.
You're rating.
Grind it out.
I really want them to expand player housing.
Yes.
Like,
That's a good one, too.
Let me get cozy.
I want to see like Terrytown.
Yeah.
The evolution of Terrytown, but like based on your save. So like if you completed the Terrytown arc, it starts from there. But if you didn't, it starts from wherever you left it off.
Very
That'd be
cool.
I want to see Terry City.
Yeah,
Terry
City.
Yeah,
Terryopolis.
It's become like
Terryopolis.
prominent. Yeah, like all that like water around it, like they built up, and it's like just a huge like city now. going
if
up.
Terry City is not in the game, have Damiani, I'm gonna be disappointed.
It'd be kind of cool to give like a pickaxe and stuff instead of like just bashing. Yeah, like they already had it, but building up that mining system a little bit more since it felt a little gimmicky at times.
Yeah,
breaking the gems and stuff.
I really want to be able to sail in the ocean to like maybe a smaller island or something, or swimming underwater, having something underwater, and also different types of mounts besides a horse. Like you could actually have the bear as your mount for the whole.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Not just riding it for fun.
They
like it's your mount.
They just need to give you, by halfway through the game or more, you need to have a flying mount of some kind, and I need to be able to jump off of it and then just start gliding.
Dude, flying mount, that's like in-game stuff, man. You're getting crazy.
Skyward Sword, baby. I just thought of a really weird idea. You know how in Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson like is a saxophonist at night and he wears sunglasses? So like in this game, instead of like becoming a wolf, you become this cool guy who plays saxophone.
At the milk bar?
How about an ocarina? So like a little more context.
It's a blue saxophone.
No, you have like Cass's accordion or something.
Wait.
You become his pupil.
Do saxophones exist in Breath of the Wild?
Well, I don't know about Breath of the Wild in all the games.
Yeah, they have like
Majora's Mask, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they should expand the whole band concept.
Yeah.
And you have to form optional quest is you can form a band and you can at different venues.
But Link wears sunglasses the whole time, and like Zelda doesn't know that he does that.
You know what the band was called in Majora's Mask?
Oh god, what were they?
It's the name of a fundraising site.
Oh, it's the Indiegogos, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they were named up before that site existed. Yeah.
Weird.
But, I mean, that's also like,
Yeah, I would definitely like to see more town stuff at night. Like they did a good job of like player cycles and stuff, but I don't know that there's enough like cool things to do at night.
Blood, they should just bring back a semblance of the Bomber's Notebook where there's sort of a schedule to certain main NPCs, not every single NPC,
Right.
and you can track like tasks and stuff that you can do. But especially at night, because Majora's Mask had like that thief come at night. Was it Sakon or whatever, Sakon? And you had to like prevent them from robbing the old lady. You could have like a thief who only strikes at night or something, like an ex-Yiga clan member or something. And you gotta be like
the Yiga clan.
You gotta be like
more of that.
You gotta be like Batman, Huber. You gotta be like at night. You gotta wear like a masked outfit and stuff, and you track crime in the cities.
Sign me up.
Yes.
All right. Our next one comes in from Jesse Blue. I know you all live very distances away, with Ben being one of, if not the farthest. I don't think that's true. I think like Brad and I are pretty equal. What time is the best to travel to and from the studio for all, and what is that taken into consideration when planning new streaming sessions? Is there a cutoff time? If you stay past 5 p.m., you might as well wait until 8 to go home?
Yes, there is that.
Yeah, that I feel like we've all said that. Like myself, Don, Kyle, just like Brad, just like, oh, I'm here. It's the worst time to go home. I might as well just wait. And we do try to schedule shows around traffic, but it can be hard because traffic is so bad that it's not a flawless exercise by any means.
I got to the studio at like 1 last Thursday though, and it was like the easiest, breeziest drive. So from like noon to 1, it's like slick.
Yeah,
can be.
noon to 1.
Man,
or like
it's
11.
like being in a toboggan, dude.
It must just be which direction you're going, because Kyle, I feel like I used to have those moments a lot more frequently where I'd have a good drive and I'd be like, man, like maybe this is the time. But then I feel like I'll go like right around the same time and it'll be a mess. So
I had to get there at 10 a.m. earlier this week too, and it was just like 2 hours, man. It just sucks. 10 a.m. is the worst time to ask somebody to go to that studio.
I don't have a frame of reference for this because this company has been in my house and then very close to where I live. But I just want to add that when Milo was in the NICU, he was very far away from us, and we totally 100% calculated every time we went up there to go when the least amount of traffic was and the least amount of traffic back. And that was like our child. You would think like, rain or shine, doesn't matter how far you are, son, I'll come to you. And we were like, You know, can we leave it like 1? You know, that would be so much easier. And then, you know, like we would be there with him for a couple hours and we're like, all right, sorry, son, traffic. We got to go.
LA, baby.
Got to go that other way on the 405 now. Bye.
LA would be a very much kinder place if people didn't have to drive. Because those roads are
we'll see.
Lawless.
When there's self-driving cars cheaper, we'll see.
Oh, the aggression on the roads of LA is
everyone is mad.
Yeah. Everyone is mad. It's everyone for themselves. It's everyone against you. It is the worst. It's terrible.
It's all the fault of Cloverleaf Transportation, dude. If they hadn't bought up all the trains and shut them down to build those damn superhighways, we wouldn't be in
information superhighway.
For real though, leave a big gap.
Yeah, I try to leave very early.
Leave a big. No, but I mean between you and the next car.
Oh, yeah.
Because then the aggressive people, they just go through the gap and then they're out of their way and then everything's chill.
What if you are the aggressive person? I mean, I'm not one of those maniacs weaving around, but I don't drive slow.
Our next question comes in from DRD, 7 of 14. Evening, allies. Got something different for you this month. Can a co-op with asymmetrical tasks that together achieve a single objective be a successful game? Example: Warframe. General in the tent giving orders, soldiers on the field engaging enemies, medics in the trench performing triage, chopper pilots moving troops, evacs, spies passing intel, technicians repairing gear, each with unique and detailed mechanics.
That's what Warframe is like?
No, it's a what if, I think.
Oh.
I believe he's presenting a what if. Yeah, I think Jones is right. Not in the Team Fortress Overwatch Arena sort of way, but rather as isolated tasks that serve to benefit one another. Not player classes with stat or ability perk, but with fundamentally different goals. Sorry if this is all complicated. Guess I want some new crossings of gameplay genres. Could you ask?
This would seem to be like a one-off thing where like this type of mode isn't happening all the time, but maybe one game has like an event that they promote, and then this happens for like a day. And so you jump in, you're like, oh, that was weird. Kind of like Thanos in Fortnite. Like, I don't see somebody coming back to this again and again and again, but like this could be a fun little exercise just for like a day.
What I like, I don't know. Stuff like this that I think works successfully is when any player can choose to inhabit any role at any time like that. Like Killer Queen, you can be a worker or a soldier. You know, you can like change. And like we used to play in college this game called Tremulous, which was awesome. It was basically like AVP kind of. There were aliens and people, and the aliens could go on the ceiling and stuff. But you could go back and be a worker and build, and it had like RTS elements. You were like building a base, and the way to win was destroying the other person's base. I guess maybe like natural selection. I never played that, but stuff like that where like you can change forms whenever you want, but do different, very, very different tasks. I think that's really fun in games like that. That kind of stuff can work.
Ian, I think you nailed it. Is like when you're stuck to the role, you feel like you might be having less fun. And so I think being able to switch your responsibilities on the fly is super important.
Yeah.
Because the thing I thought of actually was the most recent Avengers thing that I was watching Hubris play in Fortnite, where like it's just less fun to not be a superhero.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would just be less fun to simply be the medic in the scenario written. And so like just like you have to be able to be like, okay, I'm done with that though. I'm ready to be this thing now.
Well, and it's really cool because you can strategize and change strategy throughout. Like people could be like, we need more builders, go, you know, but then it's like once your base is cool, then you go on the offensive and everyone changes. It's neat. Tremulous, dude.
Neptune's Pride.
Was it Dust 514 or whatever that thing was? It was linked.
Oh yeah,
514 or something.
Yeah, 514.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So you had like an FPS that was linked to this giant
EVE Online
strategy game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool idea.
I feel like games in the past have tried to make like give you the freedom of being like, hey, you can do something really mundane like being a merchant, or you can go off and be a hero. And I think it's hard to do both of those things. And so, man, I love the idea. And if it was done like amazingly well, where you just have this huge fantasy world and you can literally be anyone, and all of those roles feel different. But you're very limited in what you could do. And so you have to lean on people to, like, I don't know, progress, where it's like, okay, I'm a carpenter, but I don't wish I was playing something else. I don't wish that I was like a mage or something. Like there's this whole game for me to explore.
What if Farm Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, a Mechanic Simulator, etc., all joined forces?
The Life Simulator?
You cracked it. You
Yeah,
cracked it, bud.
you broke the internet, bud.
And it's just called Simulator. Job Simulator? Put Job Simulator in there?
Work Simulator. Who's ready to work?
Have a veterinarian in there too?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
All the surgery games, put those in. Just anything with a job.
Blood,
And Goat Simulator.
You're all building
I secretly want to be a veterinarian.
In real
I really
life.
do. Yeah, yes, I do. I want to just take care of animals.
It's not too late, man.
You ever want to meet?
Yeah, no, who knows? Who knows where life will take you? But no, really, I think about it sometimes. It'd be nice. Next question comes in from Master Pants. Oh, hey, Miles from Lost. Does anyone on the panel get their immersion really broken when certain actors from TV series show up as minor characters in movies? And if so, does any of that stick out for you? That's a really good question.
This question is Jones bait.
That's a classic Jones bait.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually quantified the popularity of certain actors compared to the roles they play. I can't believe that doesn't matter to anyone else. That, like, if Barack Obama just showed up as like a shopkeeper, you would be like, "What the hell? What? And then be like, that scene was so weird. Why was Barack Obama the shopkeeper for like 5 seconds?" You'd be like, "What? He's doing acting now. What's the big deal?" You know, that could be anybody.
When
It's
I
like,
see
what?
stuff like that, I always just assume they're friends with Seth Rogen.
Sure.
It's like, oh, they're just friends. They just put him.
Well,
in
that's
there.
the thing, is sometimes it's a parody. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's how do you define a parody? If you have someone show up in a role, I guess the size of the role. So, like, if someone shows up for like a scene, like, haha, that's funny. But if they then follow the characters to another scene, oh, I guess they're in this movie. You know,
Right,
like how
right.
where do you? It's weird. It's a gray area.
A cameo?
Yeah,
Or-
Yeah.
cameo. Sorry.
If I've never met the person, it doesn't bother me. They're an actor. They're acting.
I don't watch a lot of
My-
TV, which feels good. I miss a lot of that stuff.
Like Keeley will be a test
Right.
because I've met him in real life. So it'll be
A
weird.
test. Yeah.
It'll be weird. Whereas if it's an actor like, Dominic Monaghan showing up in Star Wars, like, no, he's Cal. He's an actor.
What's funny to me is if you just like flipping channels and like you like catch like an old Law and Order rerun, and it's like somebody that's famous now. I'm just like, oh wait,
Right.
what?
X-Files is great for that. I mean, in working in video games, it's like friends or ex-girlfriends or whatever, voice acting and stuff. Then you're like, oh, okay, I know you. That's kind of always funny.
But you had more of an emotional resonance from Arthur Morgenhuber because you didn't know him, right? At least a little bit.
The actor?
You going into, regardless of the writing, going into Red Dead Redemption 2, you instantly had a more emotional connection to Arthur Morgan because you didn't recognize him than you possibly could with Cal Kestis, because there is going to be some part of your brain that is going to be thinking Gotham, 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 Gotham the whole time. Like, you can't tell me you can totally 100% shut that off. That it'll that when
I
he
really
turns
think I
and
can.
I don't shut it off, though.
like,
I don't shut it off. It's different.
that's crazy to me.
It definitely will change it, but I use it to change it better. Like, I love him because of Gotham, so
Got
I'm
it.
taking that love now and
Sure.
putting it on this character, who he is.
They come
But
with
that love
points.
is in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Love cures
So-
all wounds.
I think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I saw recently. And I think Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio do such a good job in that movie I wasn't looking at them as Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Like, I was completely immersed in their characters, and I think that speaks to the skill that they have. Like, it wasn't a distraction for me, right? And I don't know. I think you can do it in such a way where you initially have that response, but you just kind of like the process of watching a movie itself. You just slowly get sucked into it.
Conversely, though, I just saw Ad Astra, and there were like 3 or 4 times where I'm like, he's doing that Brad Pitt mouth thing. He's doing that mouth thing. That's that Brad Pitt thing.
Yeah, I could totally see it going the other way.
Yeah.
I think Jones's example it's a more interesting thing because me and Huber only know that actor from Gotham. We don't have any experience with that guy anywhere else. So like he's just this Joker guy. Like that's all we know of him, and so it's hard to like see. Oh, he's got hero. Like that's where like the conversion has to make sense. Whereas like Nolan North, it's like sure that's Nolan North, but he's been so many guys that unless all you played is Uncharted, that like it's not that big of a deal for me to hear him in a different role. And a lot of times you don't really know unless like he's doing the Nathan Drake style voice.
Dude, Nolan North and Last of Us still surprised. Every time I play it, I'm surprised.
I think Patrick Stewart's an example. Like, I think I'm capped on Patrick Stewart voicing characters. Like, if you have a guy come into your movie and he's like, "Oh, hello," I'd be like, that's just Patrick Stewart. Like, I have to think of everything else that he's done. So it's weird. There's like a meter that it's more intense for me in some situations and less in others. And so it fascinates me for other people that they're like, that doesn't exist at all. Like, I just instantly, boom.
Patrick Stewart is a really interesting example, though, because I feel like Patrick Stewart plays a lot of similar type of roles.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of this very, like, methodical, like, well-spoken, intelligent character. And so I think the similarity in those roles might contribute to that, too.
This reminds me of the thing that does take me out, though. And I wish I could remember what game it was. It was like some RTS or something where we thought it was Patrick Stewart, and then we looked it up and it wasn't. That to me is distracting when it's like you couldn't get Patrick Stewart, you couldn't get Patrick Warburton, so you got someone to do Patrick Stewart. That's distracting to me. That's where I'm like, ooh.
Sean Bean in Civ 6 is a little distracted to me. Like, not in a bad way, but it's just like...
That's always good for... he's never not just Sean Bean showing up to tell me stuff, but I love it. I'm just like, Sean Bean, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me these quotes.
But I'm always, like, very aware of it, where it's like, oh, hi, Sean Bean.
Yeah. I think
Sean Bean in Hitman was so good.
Yeah, it was really
Hope
good.
he comes back.
The Undying.
Yeah.
Our next question comes in from Kelvin. Your thoughts on The Legend of Dragoon on PS1? Do you want a remaster?
Never played it. I do want a remaster.
Very little of it, but yeah.
Yeah, this is one I played it at the time, and I thought it was awesome. I thought the presentation was awesome. I thought the transformations in battle were really, really cool. But like my memories of it are just so fuzzy. But yeah, I definitely, like, why not? Why not?
I played this?
I think this would be a one. We kind of talked about this with the Link's Awakening remake, but I think it would be like remakes are sometimes good where it's like, okay, this will give you like a fuller opinion. This will allow me to play all of this or to revisit it or challenge my opinion on something old. So yeah, I think it'd be cool. You'll know with the box art, I feel like, Ian.
I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I think I played this.
Yeah.
There are definitely like a swath of PlayStation games that I played and have no memory of playing.
It seems like the general response from the panel is yes, though.
So, Ian, you would say that you have a shattered memory when it comes to that?
Absolutely. Though that was on Wii, Hubert.
Sure.
Wii and PS2.
Oh yeah, I forgot it came out a second. The other one.
Robert Seven Lee says, "Hi all, really loving TV shows like Fleabag and The Boys at the moment. What are you guys currently watching and enjoying? And are there any you'd like to discuss on spoiler mode?"
Fleabag is great.
Dark Crystal just finished, and that was a treat. That was really cool. I can't believe that I think they wanted to do a season 2, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Carol and Tuesday. Just watched that on Netflix.
How was it?
Exceptional.
Cool.
Can't wait for part 2. It's coming like in another month or so. But yeah, it's really good.
I gotta watch that.
I've been in a movie mode. I've been watching a bunch of movies, not really any TV shows.
I've been kind of in the same boat, Huber.
Watching a lot of movies.
Yeah, we just finished My Hero Academia, so we'll have to figure out what's next after that.
Demon Slayer.
Yeah, you guys have said that a few times.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen one episode of that.
Was it on Hulu?
It's on Hulu, baby.
Oh, that's actually, that's a lie. You know what I've been watching is Batman animated series rewatch.
Nice.
Sick, dude.
You know what I watched last night, Jones? Robin's Reckoning, part 1 and 2. Absolute classic.
I'm like partway through the Umbrella Academy.
How was that?
It's okay. It's about what you'd expect. I don't know. It's fine.
I had kind of a weird experience with the Umbrella Academy where I started watching it and I was like, this seems kind of interesting, and then I kind of fell off of it and I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't like super pumped to go back to it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Sophia's rewatching Breaking Bad, so I'll show up mid-episode and then I'll just get like sucked in because my God, that show is good.
Yeah. El Camino.
Sucked in. Makes me want to go back and keep going with Better Call Saul. I watched
season 1. Ian.
Didn't watch the rest.
Ian, please. Season 1 is the worst and compared to the rest.
Yeah.
To answer the second part of that question, like I really only like to do spoiler mode if it's something I like really loved. Like I don't like to do spoiler modes for movies. And so like TV shows like we did Better Call Saul and it was awesome, Huber.
Yeah.
But like I also watched The Guys. What's it called?
The Boys?
The Boys. And like I wouldn't do a spoiler mode for it. You know what I mean? It's like it's good. To me, they're like the line of like what I will do a spoiler mode is just like love and above.
Did you watch Fleabag, Kyle?
I haven't watched Fleabag yet.
It's so man, I think you'd really appreciate it. It's really really phenomenal.
I'll watch Fleabag.
Those 30-minute episodes?
Yeah, 20, 30.
Excellent.
It's so doable. There are only 6 episodes per season, 2 seasons, and it's done.
Man, I'm actually really glad when you say that because I feel like a lot of what I want to watch nowadays is like 40-minute, 60-minute episodes for things. So, yeah. Which can be great, but
watchable.
Yeah. Still got to get through Barry.
You know, my guilty pleasure. I've been wanting to bring this up because I've never seen a more of a train wreck than the current season of Fear the Walking Dead.
Whoa.
And the reason I'm still going really strong with it is because I enjoy reading the reviews of each episode after I watch. They have been so brutal. Like I can't. Like
the show got better for a second. It's bad again.
What's up?
That show got better for a second. It's bad again.
They spoiler alert, they killed off like their entire main cast and did a reboot with new showrunners, and I can't even explain that it is by far the worst show I've ever watched. But I can't look away. I can't look away.
Huber, you should watch. We should do a spoiler mode. We should discuss The Island on Netflix.
You were telling me how bad that was, right?
I shit you not. It is the worst thing I have ever seen. It's inexplicable. It's like made by people who like are not of this earth.
I'm pretty sure, dude. Fear the season could give it a run for its money for how bad it is. I swear to you. I swear it's that bad. They took like a hot air balloon to rescue someone and it crashed. So they flew a plane, but that plane crashed. So then they had to go get new plane parts to get a new, like.
I've never seen any air in any Walking Dead. This is insane.
It's mind-boggling.
I'm like a year behind since like we don't have cable now, but.
Dude, check out some Forbes reviews. They rip it apart.
The island is like people behave in way like they react in ways to each other like they're like it's not even like human conversations. People don't make sense what they're saying. Their emotional reactions to things make no sense. Literally nothing that's happening is like people interacting with each other. It's like insanity. It's amazing. We watched the entire series because it was just like, this is so inexplicable.
Yeah.
I can't even phrase it. Oh my. Oh.
Yeah. It's funny.
Next question comes in from Tierju Engi. Sekiro is the most infuriating game I've played in a decade. The game was way too filled with same mini bosses and bosses with me going from, hey, this boss is cool to you again. Never felt accomplished like in Souls games because timing Mikiri counter was generous, yet game was hard and tedious because they had too much health unless you drain their stamina. Also, lock on camera sucked. That was truly the hard mode. Spent 7.5 hours on the final boss because I was in rage all the time. Not a great mindset for the game. The final phase was unnecessary and eventually had to legitimately get good after running out of spirit emblems. So, to my question, what game overstayed its welcome and needed trimming? The game looks beautiful and has good animations. Cutscenes with turn fade to black was jarring, though.
Yeah. I don't agree with a lot of that, though.
Man,
that was the sneaky thing. It's like, here, I'm going to do all these opinions, and my question isn't about this game.
About Sekiro,
Right.
yeah. I agree with a couple of those in Sekiro, actually.
Oh dear.
I mean, I mentioned it before, but like, I wish I hadn't stuck through Nier Automata or Red Dead Redemption 2.
You're muted, Jones.
Days Gone. Campaign's way too long.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
They did too much.
Sounds like Astral Chain for you guys. You were talking about.
Astral Chain, yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like a lot of the games that are coming to mind are like, they're games that I genuinely love, but I just like, I would have preferred to have been done 20 or 30 hours sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know if Astral Chain is too long for me. It's just that the structure of it could have been better. Like, it feels long.
Right.
That needs trimming. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm going through the first time one of immediately my favorite games of all time, masterpiece, but I feel like it's too long. Hollow Knight.
I'm about to join you there, Huber.
It's a little long.
I can agree with that. Yep.
It is
Yeah.
one of the best games I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people love to argue that if you like, oh, I wanted more of that. I want to keep playing that. And I get that feeling from some games. And I had that feeling for a while in Hollow Knight, but it got to a point around like the 20-hour mark where I'm like, I hope this is done soon. And then 10 plus hours later, it's like, now I'm done. I'm like, okay. I got that. Yeah. Hollow Knight. That I don't, it's an unpopular opinion, but I mean, I'm just being honest there. And same thing with Persona 5. I got the same criticisms from people saying, man, it's not long enough. And I'm like, I mean, I could have done with like one less dungeon, sequence of events basically. And I would have been like just as happy with that game. But on the flip side, like I get the other point of view, like Fire Emblem. Like I know there are people like that game's way too long and stuff. And I'm on multiple playthroughs when I said I wouldn't because I had that feeling of, I just want to keep playing more and stuff. So I see the other side of the fence, but personally, yeah, Hollow Knight, like I can't stand that one stung the most because like I've never played a Metroidvania type game that long, and it was just got rough at the end.
I can definitely see Persona 5. I think it was what you were describing though for me, Damiani, with Hollow Knight, where I just like I kept wanting to play, and so I just never encountered that. Another game that I love, but I actually do think it's way too long, and it's one of the biggest things against it is Neo. I think Neo goes on for much longer than it needs to.
I was so passionate for that game. I'm like, that's enough of that.
The Witcher 3 might have a few too many side quests because the way I play is like I'm doing all the Witcher contracts. I'm doing all the side quests. And we've talked about this so much, Blood, of like, your mentality, I think, is great. If I could adopt it, of like, you're not really supposed to 100% it in a way, because by the time you get to the end, it's just like a little too much, maybe.
I scrubbed out on Witcher 3 altogether. Yeah, I didn't even get through it.
And it definitely is the case with me with Ben with Hollow Knight, where like I enjoyed every minute of it, but like anyone that tells me that Red Dead 2 is so long, it's like, you're not wrong. I totally get that. There's no way I can tell you that it wasn't too long
Right.
for you.
Right.
You know, like, of course, totally.
But even like story-wise, I was talking about this with my friend the other day, where it's like, if they had cut out chapter, I mean, I don't remember the specific numbers, but if they'd cut out chapters like 2, 3, and 5, I think, or no, which one was the island one? Whatever. But
2's really good. I think it's 3. Yeah,
3, 4, and 5.
I think. Yeah.
I mean, basically, it should have just been like
2's dope.
Like getting used to it in the woods, everything falls apart. Like,
right.
You know, like a 3-act story structure. You know, but yeah, it's also got to be an open world game. Bloat.
Oh my god, yes, dude. One of my favorite games in the series, but Bradley Ellis. Way too long, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Way too long. That game needs to be like half the length of that game.
Way too long.
Oh, I love it.
It's funny because it's like I've kind of checked out of Assassin's Creed now because of Origins and Odyssey's length. Like
Yeah.
I was keeping up with them before, but I'm like now.
Like, how many times do I got to talk to Socrates, man? It's like, I'm cool. I get it.
I'm cool.
They just released the final free quest.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
It was Socrates.
Free stuff, baby.
Yeah. So,
next question comes in from Tegan. Hi, Alice. This is a doozy, but please humor me. First time posting a question on the Easy A Q&A. This is actually my second favorite Easy Ally segment after Hall of Greats. Wow. Most of the time, I will probably ask fun and silly questions that tickle my fancy, but sometimes I'll ask a question that usually derives from a place of, if I don't get some type of closure or recourse from you guys, then the feeling of freezing icicle slowly grinding its way out of my brain from the inside won't go away. Finally, anything I ever ask will come from a place of pure love and respect. Okay, first icicle. I do not expect all of you to have played every game from every series, from every console ever. That's probably impossible. However, through long-term observation of the content you produce, I cannot help but feel, calling it like I see it through a very small window, that both individually and as a whole, you allies have both small and huge, glaring meteoric-sized omissions in your respective gaming histories across all current and historical game platforms, in my opinion. The recent Sega Genesis Classic stream at times made you guys honestly look like a deer in the headlights, with it seeming like you had never heard of many of those games, along with not realizing how important some of them were in gaming history, and how their excellence continue to inspire today. Games like Phantasy Star 2 and 4, Comic Zone, Shining Force 2, Revenge of the Shinobi, Super Thunder Blade, and Beyond Oasis. That's only some of Sega's history, for example. Don't get me started on arcade and fighting games. Now, respectfully, I can say, of course, I too have my own fair share of gaming blind spots. However, I personally cannot help but feel it is disconcerting that people I partially entrust to inform me of their opinionated quality of new games, released reviews, and the registration of excitement and impressions of upcoming games have a non-existent understanding of many quality game experiences throughout gaming history. Now, I would like to reiterate once again, it is impossible in life to play every game ever made, and that is perfectly fine. Our differences are what help define us and make us strong. So easy allies with some rough edges is a good thing. However, I'm curious to know what is your opinion on the matter of having only so wide of a gaming history and knowledge, and how much that affects your current and future endeavors of multimedia gaming journalism and criticism going forward. For the record, you guys are amazing, and I love you to death.
So, you look at something like Brandon Plays Pokemon, that's reliant on me not knowing. So sometimes that works out really well. You know, sometimes that's like the best when someone like knows nothing about it, and then we introduce it or gain their perspective. Me not playing Link's Awakening, now playing the new one, so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, I loved playing Phantasy Star 4 last week. That was cool. And it's like, I'm really tempted. Like, oh, let's start in on this. I'm like, I'm already streaming 2 RPGs. Hold back.
Yeah, I think also like the third game mentioned was Comic Zone. Like the influence of Comic Zone on gaming today is zero.
Which I've played. I've played Comic Zone.
Yeah, we've played a lot of those games.
It's okay. Generally, so like my feeling on this is this: like, I don't think it's necessary at all to have this huge history of game playing to be able to critique games. In fact, I think it's an advantage a lot of times. My least favorite kind of comedy people are like comedy historians. who just like love the greats of comedy. I think those are generally like the least funny people. And so like to me, like what's most important is we come at it with opinions and can articulate opinions. And so like if we're being real, those Genesis games aren't that relevant. They would be brought up more often. We would be more embarrassed to not know of them if they were a bigger deal. And so while they like did exist and they are great today, like I have a really good time with my Sega Genesis Mini. Like I don't think it's fair to ever say to someone, I don't trust your gaming opinions because you never played Alicia Dragoon before. And so that's my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. And I owned a Genesis as a kid, but like I was a kid, dude.
Yeah,
I had like 10 total games.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to say, Huber. Sorry, Blood. Where were you going at?
No, you can go ahead. Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. I think it is easy from two different things to like think about the perspective of when I talk about the Genesis, that was the first console I had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And so my experiences are going to be a lot different today, where I've had a lot more life experiences. I'm a lot better at articulating. I'm a lot better at playing games. And so I think sometimes when there's hesitation, it's that. Like, hesitation is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it can be seen as a good thing. And I think if it comes down to, like, I think as long as the person is always willing to give something a chance, that's fine. But it's also, like we were talking about arcades earlier, it was a totally different time growing up. I played what was available in the arcade. There are plenty of arcade games. There are arcade games that I feel like Brad and Huber have talked about, or other people have talked about, where it's like, I never played that because that wasn't around me at the time. And that there were different realities with just like how you played games. It's not like it is now where so much more is immediately available. And so those are real considerations to consider as well. And also, being a kid, I didn't have my own money. That was an extremely limiting factor on what I could play. I just had no money with which to spend games. I do think being informed is good, absolutely, and I do think recognizing history is good, and that we should try to do that. But I also think it's important to fully contextualize why something is that way, and that's just life.
Well, and not to mention, like, we live our lives online. Our job is playing video games online in front of people. And so, like, because of that, you're going to see all the holes in our knowledge and in our experience and in our skill set. And it's like, that makes it unfair to then, like, pick it apart, because it's like, yeah, the only reason that you are able to see that we've never played this game is that we play almost everything in front of people, and, like, we live that way online. And it's like, it's kind of ridiculous to me. It's unfair, because it's like, to pick and choose like that and then ignore the, like, encyclopedic video game knowledge that, like, some of you guys have on a lot of other stuff because you never played Alicia Dragoon, or Comic Zone. It's like, why pick and choose? Like, who cares?
Well, one of the things I was thinking too is, like, that even extends to media in a way, right? Because, like, now, even if you don't play a game, right, you can read about it, like, instantly. Like, you can check it out, you can find out, and you can learn about a game online. Whereas, like, back then, even what magazines you subscribed to made a huge difference. It's like, I had Nintendo Power, and I knew, like, how to get through games because they had maps, that I'd never played before. But at the same time, like, there was GamePro and EGM and such, but they handle game coverage pretty differently. And unless I picked that up, like, in a store, like, I wasn't going to have the opportunity to get multiple subscriptions to magazines. And so, yeah, like, a lot of Genesis stuff I wasn't aware of because the friends didn't have it. But then there's also stuff like I'm the only person that, like, has this, like, weird knowledge of, like, Commodore 64 games, right?
Right.
Like Maniac Mansion and Legacy of the Ancients and stuff like that was very indicative of games that were happening at that time and did have big influence there. But there are all these other like European PCs, you know, the Amiga and Spectrum and stuff going on at that time that made a huge difference in European gaming. And so it's weird. There's all these holes, and it's only going to get worse. You know, it's like, you know, like we're old enough to where we saw most of this stuff come out, but everybody after us is, you know, like they're playing Genesis and Super Nintendo secondhand. They weren't around to see like how amazing it was that a Boo in Super Mario World was transparent. You know? Well,
and like when it comes to criticism and analysis, like my standpoint is more in the film area, you know, and like I feel more confident in my ability to critique and analyze filmmaking than game making, you know. But like, obviously because of my job and exposure to games, I do that too. But like, when you have studied it and like been living it and like, in my case, even went to school for it, it's like you don't have to have seen every movie on the planet to understand like the theory of it and the execution of it, you know? Like you don't even have to see Citizen Kane necessarily because you've seen Citizen Kane's influence on every film you've ever seen, you know? And so when you see Citizen Kane, you're like, "Oh, wow, this is kind of dry." Because it's like, yeah, it invented everything that you've grown up, you know, seeing.
I like that, Ian. I love that there are 9 of us and we all have different strengths, and I just love learning from all of you. And I think that's the point of Easy Allies, is that we are a group, we are a collective, and when you combine our knowledge, like freaking
Captain Planet?
Captain Planet, or like Voltron or whatever.
Megazord?
You know? So yeah, I don't expect any one person to consume everything, because it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to speak, I think, to maybe how the change in content has changed kind of the conversation in one particular negative way, where sometimes it feels like it's less about, like Kyle was saying, how well you articulated something, and more of, okay, well, what's next? Okay, you covered that thing. I watched your video. What's next? I've got, 20 other videos to watch. And it's always so much. It's always on the next thing. And like, even when we talk about stuff, whether it's a show or a game or something, it can sometimes be a little bit discouraging when people aren't necessarily talking about how we discuss something that they were excited for us to discuss, but what the next thing is going to be. And then I think it just becomes very kind of shallow that way, where it's I totally agree with Kyle, where it's not necessarily just like the breadth, it's kind of the depth that you try your best to go into.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon, what were you going to say?
Also, group streams aren't necessarily the best examples of us to start dropping knowledge or talking about. Like, I know more about Comic Zone than I talked about because we weren't going to play it. We had already moved on to another game. And so I wasn't going to be like, wait, let me talk about Comic Zone for 10 minutes. So I think like if you have solo streams or something like Kyle talking about Pokemon Silver, to me, then you really get a great representation of like how much he knows. We're here to talk about the things we know we're knowledgeable about. Whereas the group streams are kind of they get goofy.
Yeah,
Also,
I've played Comic Zone at some point too. Yeah,
right.
Oh, totally. I watched you play it. Like that was an easy living game or something. I watched someone play Comic Zone for at least an hour.
Well, and also like it speaks to the efficacy of the people who chose the games to go on to that Genesis Mini, right? Because when you're trying to sell a thing like this, you want the big hitters that everyone remembers and has played because of nostalgia. But then, you want to mix in a few that fewer people have played, because it'll keep them on your little system longer.
Yeah. I love the Super Nintendo games I've never heard of before on the Switch now. They're my favorite ones on there, It's like
Demon's Crest? That game rules.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
To this person's credit, though, and I think this is true of the audience, if you don't think we're knowledgeable enough, or you have doubts about where we're coming from, I think it's okay. I think there are definitely content creators out there where I'm like, I'm just not feeling this anymore, and I moved on. And it's not like that. I don't think that's like some sort of vicious attack or a cruel thing. Like, you do have a lot of anshas. There are a lot of really talented and extremely knowledgeable people out there, and you got to find the right fit for you.
Totally.
Next question comes in from Andrew. Hey, Alice, I recently saw a fan comic of Persona 5 where Kazuma Kiryu beats the crap out of Kamoshida, the volleyball coach. My question to you, Alice, is what video game would you like Kazuma to cross over in?
God, what did we just... Oh,
Kamoshida.
I think I was talking to Huber about Shenmue, last night.
Yep.
Teaming up with them back to back.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14.
Tekken, dude. Sick.
Everyone wants it.
I would love to see
Mario.
when something completely like
Super Mario Odyssey 2.
yeah,
Smash.
like Watan.
Smash.
Like
Oh, man.
so out of nowhere, and
Watan's a good
he's
pick.
like, "What the hell am I doing here? What is this?"
Gwent.
Ian.
Yeah.
Gwent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Dude, put him in Cyberpunk.
He's probably already in Death Stranding.
He might be.
Yeah.
Bossman's in this right.
It's going to be really weird when, like, somehow Kojima found a way to put every player in Death Stranding, and they just go and they find themselves.
Yeah. Wait, I'm here?
I'm here. I'm in this.
Yeah, if Death Stranding asks me to like plug in the PlayStation camera, like,
Careful.
yeah, careful. Don't make me do this, Kojima.
Download it, dude. Your
You have to
face.
sign into Death Stranding with Facebook, and it like starts putting your friends and family in the game. I played a game like that one time. I don't remember what it was.
Our last question comes in from James. What anime would make for the best traditional JRPG?
Cowboy Bebop? No.
Traditional.
Yeah, no.
Record of Lotus War.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understood that reference.
I think One Piece would make for a really good big
Dude,
scale
hell yeah.
traditional JRPG.
It would. It's like Dragon Quest with boats.
I think like Bubblegum Crisis or like Escaflowne. Those could be cool.
I know you were saying Bubblegum Crisis. It sounded like you said Bubba Gump Crisis.
Bubblegum
And I thought of this.
Bubblegum Crisis.
Wait, have you guys not see the Forrest Gump spin-off anime? It's crazy, dude. It's nuts. Bubba Gump Crisis.
So I'm trying to think of like an anime where they're constantly learning new moves. You know what I mean? Like I think that's really important. Like you get upgrades and like you grow up and like my first thing was Digimon, but obviously Digimon's already a game. But maybe like Hunter x Hunter. Maybe we'll do Hunter x Hunter as an JRPG.
All right.
Nice.
We ended with anime. Thank you to everybody. We got through all the questions. Thank you to everybody who submitted questions. Apologies again for the technical difficulties. That shouldn't happen. But yeah, thank you to all the allies, and we will see you again next month. Like always, there will be a post letting you know when we're taking submissions for the Q&A, and then an actual submissions post where you will ask your question, and we'll try to answer it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Until next time, guys.